Chapter 1533, Celestial Chi Castle. How do you know that I'm from a small world? Asked Lin Feng. The Celestial Chi Castle has been pretty agitated recently. Border controls have become stricter and they sent even strong cultivators to inspect the desert. They're even capturing people from abroad. Yesterday evening, I heard sounds coming from your cottage and came over, but when I arrived you weren't there anymore. Then things happened outside, and after it stopped, you came back. From all of that, I guessed you were from a small world. Thank you for keeping our secrecy, said Lin Feng wholeheartedly. Don't thank me, I'm just doing my best. Some dangerous things might happen to you soon. The Celestial Chi Castle probably knows about yesterday evening already, said Mu Yun. Lin Feng's eyes twinkled as he said, all right, then we should leave. Will we be safer if we go to another tribe? Mu Yun shook her head, all the priestesses belong to them. I do too. If you go elsewhere, you'll draw more attention. If you stay here, I can do my best to help you. Besides, I told you I'd bring you elsewhere when you're cured. Do you understand? All right, I'm going to concoct some more medicine for you, said Mu Yun. We're lucky, said Emperor Yu after Mu Yun left. Lin Feng nodded. Indeed, they were lucky. Mu Yun was so gentle. Anyone else would have alerted the authorities. Creak, the door suddenly opened. Mu Yun's facial expression changed. Some people are here. Yun, said a voice. Lin Feng and Emperor Yu's facial expressions changed drastically. Mu Yun talked to them using telepathy. If anyone asks, you're my father and my big brother. Then she left the room and said, I'm here. A young man opened the main gate of the tribe. He looked at Mu Yun and smiled, Yun, long time no see. It was a handsome young man who didn't look like someone from the tribe. What are you doing here? Asked Mu Yun calmly. However, the young man's face changed a little as he looked at a cottage in a cold way. There are people inside, said the young man in a cold way. Then, he rushed towards the cottage and destroyed the door. He found two people inside. They all glanced at each other. Mu Yun looked nervous. She was worried that the young man had already seen them before. Mu Yun was right to fear, Lin Feng and Emperor Yu knew him. That young man had also seen both Lin Feng and Emperor Yu before. He was Chi Yuchen. What a coincidence. Yun, who are they? At that moment, Chi Yuchen saw a yellow-faced, middle-aged man who looked sick and injured. His chi wasn't very strong either. And there was also a young man, his face was dark, and he had no chi. No matter how you looked at him, he looked ordinary. How unlucky, thought Lin Feng. Chi Yuchen, what's that supposed to mean? Asked Mu Yun in a cold way. She walked to Lin Feng, put her hand on Lin Feng's hand, and said to Chi Yuchen coldly, piss off, don't disturb my dad and brother. Chi Yuchen's facial expression suddenly changed, brother and father. Yun, you know I didn't mean to bother them, said Chi Yuchen. He looked sincerely apologetic. I don't care, go away, said Mu Yun. Chi Yuchen smiled and said, all right, let's go and talk. I need to tell you something, said Chi Yuchen before he walked away. Brother, Dad, sorry for that, said Mu Yun in a gentle and warm way. Chi Yuchen looked even more sorry after he heard that. Yun, how come I've never heard about your brother and father? Asked Chi Yuchen. Why would I tell you about that? Said Mu Yun. Chi Yuchen smiled wryly and said, Yun, I'm sorry for what happened. It's already too late, said Mu Yun. Chi Yuchen was speechless, he could only change the topic now. Yun, yesterday evening, something happened here that I'm sure you've heard about already. Are there any strangers here? There are no strangers here, and if there were, I haven't seen them, said Mu Yun. All right, be careful. I'll go and inspect the tribe with my team, said Chi Yuchen. After Chi Yuchen was far enough away, Mu Yun went back to Lin Feng's cottage. She looked at Lin Feng and Mu Yun's new faces with surprise. Then she laughed and asked, "Which face is your real one?" "What do you think?" asked Lin Feng before he took off the mask. He smiled and said, "I've already seen Qiuchen. Who is he to you?" "A young master of the celestial Qi castle." "He's a direct descendant, so his social status is very high," said Mu Yun. She didn't seem to like him, but he was quite polite to her. With his social status, he could easily do anything he wanted to her, but he didn't. "Is the celestial Qi castle the head of the Qi clan?" whispered Lin Feng. "He seems to like you very much," said Lin Feng smiling. Mu Yun smiled wryly. She didn't know whether it was a good or bad thing. "Use your other face. Although you've been here for a while, you haven't walked around a lot, so not many people know you. I'll continue making medicine for you, and in a few days, we'll go to the celestial Qi castle together," said Mu Yun. As Mu Yun had said, Qiuchen didn't find anything. Lin Feng hadn't drawn people's attention in the tribe either. After Qiuchen found nothing, he left for another place. Lin Feng felt relieved. Thanks to Mu Yun, Lin Feng and Emperor Yu were recovering quickly, especially Lin Feng, whose injuries were easier to heal. Several peaceful days passed. Lin Feng had already spent 2 months in that world now. Lin Feng's skin was much darker, tanned from the sun in that desert. The sun was red and was slowly sinking beyond the horizon. Someone approached Lin Feng and smiled, "Do you miss your hometown?" "I miss my friends and family members," said Lin Feng smiling. He missed Meng Qing and Qiu Yu Xian. How strong had they become? "You still have some people to miss, at least," said Mu Yun smiling. Then she continued, "I'm going to the celestial Qi castle tomorrow, we can go all together." "Tomorrow," whispered Lin Feng. 2 months had passed, so he finally had to leave. Chapter 1534, Qingdi Mountain. If Celestial Qi Castle is the backing of the Qi clan, and Emperor Dong is the leader of the Qi clan in the small world, then the Qi clan must only be a subgroup, thought Lin Feng. Qiuchen had come to the tribe to inspect it, so how strong was the Celestial Qi Castle in the Great World? "Yun, we're at the border of the Great World, and we can go to small worlds from here." "Just how strong are the 9 celestial castles exactly?" asked Lin Feng. He knew nothing about the castles. Since they were leaving, he needed to know a bit more. "The place that connects to the small world is in this gigantic desert. Each city has the name of a powerful group, for example, Celestial Qi City is named after the Celestial Qi Castle," said Mu Yun to Lin Feng. "The 9 celestial castles also make up the 9 great cities. The Celestial Qi Castle is one of them. They also control some of small worlds which you can access from the desert. The Celestial Qi Castle, the Celestial Si Kong Castle and the Celestial Palace of the Punishing Thunders have been controlling small worlds for 10,000 years already." Celestial Palace of the Punishing Thunders, Celestial Si Kong Castle, Celestial Qi Castle. Lin Feng suddenly understood a lot more. The Celestial Qi Castle and the Celestial Si Kong Castle were obviously the leaders of the Qi clan and the Si Kong clan. Concerning the Celestial Palace of the Punishing Thunders, Lin Feng was thinking about the messenger who knew the Punishing Thunder Heart Sutra. "Why 10,000 years?" asked Lin Feng. "Controlling several small worlds is extremely advantageous. There are some arrangements, I don't know the details, but I know that every 10,000 years, they fight to see who will control the worlds. Besides, it seems like those 10,000 years have already passed, so the leaders of the small worlds will change again." Lin Feng understood that everything going on in the small world probably had something to do with all that. "Now, you understand why those people are looking for you," said Mu Yun in a gentle way. She had compassion for him. She was a priestess who had no freedom, she was controlled by the same people who controlled small world. They were all like pawns to these groups of influence. Apart from the 9 castles, other groups can't decide who the next leaders will be. In this world, only strength matters. Apart from the celestial castles, there are many terrifying cities also located in the desert. They all belong to one place, the Qingdi Mountain. Great Emperor Qing founded the Qingdi Mountain. Usually, they don't get involved in affairs related to the outside world. It's more like a holy cultivation place. Those who can practice cultivation in the Qingdi Mountain are rare, but in theory anyone could go there, including people from the celestial castles. The Celestial One Castle had a disciple go to the Qingdi Mountain, therefore, according to rumors, the Celestial One Castle might gain control over the small worlds again. Said Mu Yun. Lin Feng was surprised again. Celestial One Castle and the One Clan from the central part of Ba Huang. Yun, 10,000 years ago, the Celestial One Castle controlled the small worlds, and later on the Celestial Si Kong Castle, and then Celestial Qi Castle took control over them, asked Lin Feng. Indeed. The 9 celestial palaces can't break the equilibrium of the small worlds, no matter who is in control, they can't because it would have an impact on the controllers. Rules have always existed, but last time I heard my teacher say that some things were going to change drastically this time. No wonder the One Clan is so mysterious. They're like the Qi Clan and the Si Kong Clan, they also control a part of the world in the form of the Watchers. Maybe the small world will be theirs in the next 10,000 years, thought Lin Feng. The assassins allowed the Watchers to exist because they had to respect the equilibrium of the small world. It was also because they didn't know who the next controllers would be. Without the equilibrium, the Watchers would have been annihilated a long time ago. Yun, thank you so much for helping us, said Lin Feng. You're not completely healed yet, so you should rest early, said Yun smiling before she left. Lin Feng lied down for a long time before he went back to his cottage and told Emperor Yu what Mu Yun had told him. The next day, the sun was high in the sky and was scorching hot. Mu Yun had changed her clothes into a skin-tight leather, showing off her perfect body. Lin Feng and Emperor Yu followed her as they traveled to the Celestial Qi Castle. Yun, shouted Rong Qing in the distance. Then he ran towards her and said, Yun, are you going to buy some things in the Celestial Qi Castle? If so, I'm coming with you. Rong Qing also glanced at Lin Feng. No. I'm a priestess, so nothing can happen to me, said Mu Yun. Rong Qing shook his head and said, the Celestial Qi Castle is capturing people nowadays, so I'm worried about you. I'm coming with you and I'll protect you. Rong Qing was kind of right actually, so Mu Yun nodded and said, all right, come then. After that, all of them flew away. The 6 of them flew over many tribes, hundreds in fact. Each tribe looked like a city, some were even larger than Shuiyu. Finally, they approached a larger city. It was the first time that Lin Feng had seen a real city since arriving in that world. The buildings were huge, lofty, and they were thousands of meters high. Right now there are some things going on in the small worlds, so you can't fly in. Instead, you must go through the gate while proving that you are from a tribe, said Mu Yun. You don't need to worry about that though, I'm a priestess and you're with me, said Mu Yun. Let's go, said Mu Yun as she walked towards the guards. But at that moment, the ground quaked as many people riding beasts approached, they were galloping at full speed, making the ground shake below them. Why are they here? They're early. Mu Yun frowned when she saw those riders. Chapter 1535, Bronze Plate, What's wrong? Asked Lin Feng. Those knights are people from the Celestial Qi Castle, but they usually don't leave the city. They usually only go out when people compete to control the small worlds. They usually go to all the tribes and inform people, and at the same time, they also recall all the priestesses of the tribes, said Mu Yun. The knights continued galloping, passing in front of Lin Feng and the others. Very quickly, the knight rode away and disappeared into the desert. Only one force could have made that happen, whispered Mu Yun, Qingdi Mountain. Lin Feng and the others then walked to the gate. The guards were strict as they checked everybody. Master, I'm from a tribe, and we want to enter the Celestial Qi Castle, said Mu Yun to a guard. He looked at her and smiled, he seemed to know her as he said familiarly, "Miss Mu Yun. You're always welcome." Then, Mu Yun and the others went in. Even though priestesses were from tribes, they were members of the celestial castles. Therefore, she was confident that Lin Feng and Emperor Yu could go in with her. After they entered, she explained to them, "That's the celestial Qi castle. Even though it seems very near, it's actually very far away," whispered Mu Yun. Lin Feng looked at the gigantic and ancient castle in awe. Destroying such a castle would definitely be a spectacular show. The 9 celestial castles represent a tripartite balance of power, with a buffer zone in the middle. We're going to that buffer zone now. They have the best market there. You can surely find anything there, said Mu Yun. Lin Feng nodded. I've heard that many years ago, the 9 castles used to be one, and that strong cultivators gradually emerged and divided the city. Of course, that was a very, very long time ago, so we can't know if that's true or not. If you cross the buffer zone, you'll leave the 9 great celestial castles and arrive in another one of the cities of the Qingdi mountain. Mu Yun was talking a lot, she was pretending to be a guide, but she was actually telling Lin Feng how to leave if he needed. Yun, why would we go so far? We can find a market in the celestial Qi castle, that'd be enough, said Rong Qing behind her. She kept talking to Lin Feng, so Rong Qing was getting jealous. Besides, the celestial Qi city was a gigantic place, going to the buffer zone would take a long time. I've never been there, so I really want to see it, said Mu Yun. Rong Qing was speechless, so he just glanced at Lin Feng angrily. Why was Mu Yun being so nice to him? Had they fallen in love after living together for 2 months? Luckily, that foreigner was going to leave soon, he couldn't take Mu Yun away after all. You've never been to the buffer zone, said Lin Feng surprised. Is it strange? Many people from the tribes are like me, most people from the celestial Qi city never leave this place either. Aren't there powerful alchemists or healers in that place? Asked Lin Feng. He was still worried about Emperor Yu. I was going to tell you about that. In the 9 great celestial castles, there's a powerful group called the Palace of Medicinal Kings, and they have some very powerful healers. However, it's difficult to get seen by them, said Mu Yun. They walked and talked at the same time. Mu Yun told Lin Feng many things about the great world, including the locations of the 9 great celestial castles. She also told him about the great celestial palace of thoughtfulness, and their strong cultivators who mastered golden holy Qi skills. After she told him that, Lin Feng immediately thought about 2 people, Zhou Tian Shao and Zhou Tian Ruo. Even though the celestial Qi city was just a city on the edge of the great world, Lin Feng found the buildings astonishing and even terrifying. It took them an entire day to cross the city to the buffer zone. They even had to run during part of the day. Finally, Lin Feng arrived in the buffer zone. It was even larger than celestial Qi city and there were even more people. Even though Mu Yun had never been there, she had heard about it, especially the market. The buildings were resplendent and magnificent. Lin Feng had seen many priceless holy weapons in the small world, but there, they were numerous. There were even high-level holy weapons which left Lin Feng speechless. Mister, what's that broken piece of bronze? Asked Mu Yun to a vendor. Broken piece of bronze? Miss, I got it from the everlasting cave of the immortals, don't you know it? It's the everlasting celestial emperor's cave. Everyone admired him a long time ago, said the old man who was scratching his long beard. How much does it cost? Asked Mu Yun. 100 abstruse energy tablets, said the old man. Yun, it's a rip-off. Let's go, said Rong Qing, rolling his eyes. Did the old man think he was dumb? That was just a broken piece of bronze. Little boy, don't talk nonsense. Do you know who the everlasting celestial emperor is? He controlled 3,000 great protection spells, 108,000 small protection spells, he can even use the sky to create protective areas, said the old man. Rong Qing rolled his eyes, what did the emperor have to do with that piece of bronze though? Mu Yun shook her head and walked away. That was too expensive anyways. Let's go, said Mu Yun to Lin Feng. I just had the sensation that item was different, but when I touched it, nothing happened. Lin Feng shrugged. The price was way too high. Hey, wait, said the old man to Lin Feng, your girlfriend likes it, so won't you buy it for her? Even 10 abstruse energy tablets will be fine. I guarantee you that it's one of the everlasting celestial emperor's items, look at the 2 words carved on it. Lin Feng frowned but looked anyways, and he did see 2 words. Eh. Lin Feng shivered. That thing made his spirit shake. His eyes suddenly became pitch black as he inspected it. Lin Feng's reaction made Mu Yun and the others stop. Rong Qing still looked unhappy. Surprisingly, the old man thought Mu Yun was Lin Feng's girlfriend. How about 5 abstruse tablets, asked Lin Feng. The old man's eyes twinkled. 8, that's my final price. Alright, forget about it then, said Lin Feng throwing the bronze plate at the old man. Alright, 5, that's a deal, said the old man desperately. Lin Feng took the bronze plate back and gave the old man 5 abstruse tablets. Chapter 1536, Exposed. Lin Feng's celestial book spirit reacted in a strange way when he looked at that tablet. Besides, Lin Feng had now broken through to the 7th Zun Qi layer, and his abstruse energies were at a high level, so he couldn't use abstruse tablets anymore to improve his abstruse energies. Therefore, 5 abstruse tablets weren't that much for him. It seems like that thing must be good for my spirit. What a strange treasure, thought Lin Feng smiling indifferently. Then Mu Yun asked Lin Feng, why did you want that? Didn't you say that thing was different? I also sensed something, so I bought it, said Lin Feng. At the same time, he glanced around to see if there were other nice treasures. Mu Yun stopped and walked to another vendor's booth. It was an old man in ragged clothes. He had some medicinal herbs to sell. His stand was messy, so people didn't seem interested. However, Mu Yun seemed interested. She was looking at some red rhizome. She bent down and said, Mister, what is the price? The old man replied, 20 abstruse tablets. 20. Mu Yun didn't find that too expensive. The old man didn't even seem to know what that herb was. Maybe a fate seed wasn't even enough for that normally. The problem was Mu Yun hadn't sold the animal's body, so she had no abstruse tablets to bargain with yet. I have some. Take them. Lin Feng gave Mu Yun some abstruse tablets. Mu Yun took them and gave them to the old man. I want it. Alright, take it, said the old man. However, at that moment, Lin Feng frowned and released cold energies. Immediately after, he recalled his qi after he remembered he was in the celestial qi castle. He walked back as a gigantic hand was moving towards Mu Yun. What are you doing? Shouted Mu Yun. That hand turned into a terrifying fire and crashed onto Mu Yun's hand. Then someone stole her rhizome. Boom, a brutal qi filled the sky as Rong Qing and the others started running. Wait, shouted Mu Yun. Rong Qing and the 2 others stopped. Linda, what's that supposed to mean? Said Mu Yun. I want it, said Linda to the old man. 30 abstruse tablets, what do you think? Alright, said the old man nodding. Linda took out 30 abstruse tablets and gave them to the old man. Rong Qing and the others looked at them in a cold way. The old man said to Mu Yun, take your 20 tablets back. I already bought it. Who do you think you are to cancel the transaction? Asked Mu Yun. What a greedy old bastard. I'm not getting involved anymore. Just handle your things yourself then, said the old man. He put his things away and left. Mu Yun looked at Linda coldly and said, give me the dragon heart grass back. I bought it. Why would I give it back to you? Go and find the old man if you want some more, said Linda. How could she give up? That thing was worth at least a fate seed. You're shameless, shouted Mu Yun furiously. But the two people who were with Linda were too strong. She wouldn't be able to take it back. Are you a man or not? Shouted Rong Qing to Lin Feng. He knew that Lin Feng was strong, and that Mu Yun had done so much for him. Rong Qing, said Mu Yun in a cold way to Rong Qing, let's go. Then, she turned around and left. She didn't even glance at Lin Feng, making him feel guiltier. It was true that she had done so much for him. Boom! An arrow flew, causing the sky to shake. Immediately after that, the two people who were next to Rong Qing were enveloped, and they gave horrible shrieks as they gradually died. Mu Yun's face turned deathly pale. She turned around looking upset. She ran towards her servants, stretching out her hands, and two celestial lights appeared. But it was useless, they were dead already. People from your tribe attack my people first, said Linda smiling coldly. Then, a powerful fire abstruse energy moved towards Rong Qing. Let him off, shouted Mu Yun loudly. He wanted to kill me, so how could I let him off, said Linda smiling indifferently. The strong fire cultivator continued running towards Rong Qing with fire in his hands. Die, said that cultivator who was laughing mockingly. However, at that moment, the fire turned black, pitch black like death, and it disappeared. Then he slowly collapsed. Mu Yun turned around and saw Lin Feng. What was that qi? Cursing energy? She hadn't seen Lin Feng chanting any mantras just before. Rong Qing was amazed too, but Mu Yun just put her hand on his arm and said, let's go. She knew that Lin Feng and Emperor Yu didn't want to draw people's attention. They had already drawn too many people's attention by now. Soon there would be a crowd, and then they might be found out. Then, Mu Yun left. Rong Qing was furious as he shouted at Lin Feng, any of the beasts in the desert have more compassion than you. Lin Feng ignored Rong Qing. He didn't know Lin Feng had saved his life. He didn't know what had happened exactly. Many people rushed over. Emperor Yu said, Lin Feng. Yes, said Lin Feng nodding. He knew what Emperor Yu meant. They changed their faces again. Yun, after we leave, let's disperse. Please take care, said Lin Feng to Mu Yun. Alright, you take care as well, said Mu Yun. She knew what Lin Feng needed to do. Yun, said someone in the distance, it was Chi Yu Chen and some young men. Uncles, said Chi Yu Chen to Lin Feng and Emperor Yu. What a coincidence. But we unfortunately have some things to do, so we must be going, said Mu Yun while dragging Emperor Yu and Lin Feng with her. Rong Qing looked furious, those people are foreigners, they can easily change their faces, shouted Rong Qing. In a flash, it was as if time had stopped. Chapter 1537, Chi Yu Chen glanced at Mu Yun in a cold way. He had the feeling he had been fooled. Capture them, shouted Chi Yu Chen. Mu Yun wouldn't have thought that Rong Qing would do something like that to her. Let's go, shouted Mu Yun to Lin Feng and Emperor Yu. Then their silhouettes flickered as they ran away. Jin Chen Jun, shouted Chi Yu Chen. His voice traveled very far away in the distance. The buffer zone was the center of the 9 great celestial castles, so the guards from all the surrounding castles heard that. Chi Yu Chen didn't leave. He chased Mu Yun while asking, why betray me? Mu Yun looked furiously. Chi Yu Chen was shouting so loud enough that more people would come. Chi Yu Chen, I don't even know you, so I couldn't possibly betray you. You're just a nobody to me. Alright. Chi Yu Chen was furious. He tried to remain calm though, Mu Yun, you're a priestess, so you'll have to be punished for protecting those people who are wanted by the Celestial Qi Castle. No problem, said Mu Yun. As Rong Qing heard them talk, he felt guilty. He was too impulsive. Maybe now Mu Yun would die. If Lin Feng hadn't attacked a moment ago, you'd be dead. And surprisingly you betrayed him, said Mu Yun. She looked really crushed. Rong Qing, you're the worst kind of person. Mu Yun's words stabbed Rong Qing's heart. Lin Feng had helped him. How? How could it be him? Rong Qing kept shaking his head. He didn't believe it. I saw it with my own eyes. Who else could have helped you, said Mu Yun. Lin Feng and Emperor Yu kept running while people were chasing them. Even though they weren't emperors, they were cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer, so the two leaders of the group were especially strong. The space of the small world and the great world are different. It seems like even emperors can't go into empty spaces here. Escaping will be very difficult. Lin Feng, you go, you might have a chance to escape if I stay back. Why was his teacher doing that again? He might die if he does that, thought Lin Feng. Some emperors are chasing us. Lin Feng, you have to leave, said Emperor Yu. However, Lin Feng suddenly stopped, he didn't continue running away. Teacher, they don't want to kill me. Besides, I want to see how many people they've already captured. You go instead, said Lin Feng to his teacher using telepathy. Emperor Yu was incredulous as Lin Feng flew away. The Celestial Qi Castle, who controlled the Imperial Assassin Union, didn't want to kill the geniuses, they wanted to use them rather. Emperor Yu was different, he was an injured emperor, so he was useless to them. If they captured him, they'd kill him. Teacher, you go, shouted Lin Feng to Emperor Yu. Emperor Yu then continued running. He didn't know what to think at that moment. What could he do though? Lin Feng had already made himself a sacrifice, so Emperor Yu could only run away. Jin Chenjun caught up and looked at Lin Feng. Emperor Yu was already gone. Did you really think they could capture me? Shouted Lin Feng while releasing demonic energies, as well as sword energies. Die, sword lights streaked across the sky. The one who was chasing Lin Feng was horrified as he watched Lin Feng's sword lights cut him in two. The ones behind him suddenly stopped. They looked scared. Jin Chenjun wanted to chase Emperor Yu, but he heard Lin Feng's voice and turned around. After watching one of them die instantly, he had to agree that those people couldn't capture him, only he could. Lin Feng looked at Jin Chenjun and said, I'm not weak and my teacher is injured, so even if you caught up with him, it would be pointless. Jin Chenjun looked at Lin Feng, he looked rather excited as he said, stomping out the source of trouble is always the best thing to do in case of a threat. I will let him off for now because you're quite strong, and I don't want other people to recruit you. Lin Feng was relieved. Even though Jin Chenjun only let his teacher off temporarily, at least, he'd have the chance to escape. Where are we going? Asked Lin Feng. To the Celestial Qi Castle of course. Don't worry, I won't harm you. If you stick with me, you'll have a bright future, said Jin Chenjun smiling. Lin Feng didn't trust him though, he was sure Jin Chenjun wasn't going to kill him, but during the banquet in the Qi Empire, those from Ba Huang had gone back and killed their teachers. What could have made them do that? Can I have some time to solve an issue? Asked Lin Feng to Jin Chenjun. No problem, just stay in my field of vision, said Jin Chenjun nodding. He seemed quite friendly. Thank you, said Lin Feng politely. Then, he turned around, and those who had chased him before let him pass. They looked at him in a cold way, but they couldn't do anything to him. Oh. Chapter 1538, Danger. Lin Feng went back to Mu Yun, but Jin Chenjun was fixedly staring at him. He wouldn't let Lin Feng leave. Mu Yun felt guilty, she understood what was going on. Lin Feng, I'm sorry, it's all my fault. Mu Yun was thinking that if she hadn't brought Rong Qing with them, Lin Feng would be safe and could have escaped. Yun, don't say that, I shouldn't have gotten you involved, said Lin Feng smiling in a gentle way. Mu Yun was a kind-hearted priestess. Everything was actually Rong Qing's fault. Qi Yuchen looked at them coldly while saying, Jin Chenjun, thank you. I'm just fulfilling my duty, said Jin Chenjun smiling. The priestess protected him, so what do you intend to do? I'm taking her back to the celestial Qi castle, said Qiuchen. Lin Feng wasn't hiding his face anymore, so Qiuchen knew who he was. Jin Chenjun, that person's name is Lin Feng. He defeated Zhou Tianruo and Xiao Qifeng. He knows many different things. Bring him back to the celestial Qi castle personally, said Qiuchen. Zhou Tianruo was a cultivator from the great celestial palace of thoughtfulness and controlled golden holy Qi. Xiao Qifeng was a cultivator from the celestial transformation palace. That's what I intended to do, said Jin Chenjun. Lin Feng walked to Rongqing and looked at him in a cold way. Lin Feng had saved him and in exchange, Rongqing had betrayed him. Your mistake won't only get other people killed, it will get you killed as well, said Lin Feng. Rongqing didn't dare look at Lin Feng, he regretted everything. He hadn't thought his actions would have such repercussions. But what he thought wasn't important anymore. A death qi surrounded his body and started slowly corroding his life. No, don't kill me, I didn't know it was you, said Rongqing, shaking his head. He didn't want to die, but Lin Feng's death qi was terrifying. Die, said Lin Feng. Rongqing's life was slowly being drained. He was petrified, and then he slowly collapsed, dead. That's death abstruse energy as well as cursing energy. What a terrifying technique, thought Jin Chenjun. He didn't know what kind of skill or technique Lin Feng had used, but that was only natural because Lin Feng had created the attack himself. Let's go, said Lin Feng to Jin Chenjun naturally. He didn't know what the celestial Qi castle had planned for them. Please, said Jin Chenjun politely to Lin Feng. Lin Feng nodded at Mu Yun and they both rose up in the air. Even though they were in the buffer zone, they could clearly see celestial Qi castle in the distance. All of the 8 other castles were the same. They were extremely far, but because they were gigantic, every one of them were visible from the buffer zone. Jin Chenjun and Qiuchen followed Lin Feng and Mu Yun. They didn't stay too far away, just in case Lin Feng tried something. After a short time, they arrived at the castle. Celestial Qi Castle, oh. Lin Feng raised his head and looked at the castle. Go up, said Jin Chenjun. Lin Feng and Mu Yun climbed the flight of stairs. Finally, they arrived at a flat area. Jin Chenjun, bring him to the main palace. I'm going to inform Master Mi, said Qiuchen to Jin Chenjun. Jin Chenjun nodded back. Then Qiuchen left and took Lin Feng and Mu Yun to another room. What will they do to you, Yun? Asked Lin Feng to Mu Yun using telepathy. I don't know. I'm a priestess, so I don't have any freedom. In the past, Qiuchen was polite to me, but now I infuriated him, so he will probably punish me, said Mu Yun sadly. Her life was in Qiuchen's hands. Lin Feng, don't worry about me. I've heard of Master Mi, he's a terrifying emperor. He knows some special skills which can leave imprints on people's souls, forcing them to obey Celestial Qi Castle. Qiuchen said he was going to inform him, so maybe they're planning to do that to you. Lin Feng frowned. He should have thought about that. People who use such skills aren't easy to defeat, right? I mean, they're not from any small worlds, asked Lin Feng. Lin Feng, don't underestimate the people who came out of your small world. Even though I don't know the details, people like you who come out are incredibly talented and outstanding. When people like you are born in the great world, great influential powers raise them, choosing skills or techniques which are best suited for them. They are at the very least, powerful, said Mu Yun. People here always join a power after they become strong enough, like the Qingdi Mountain. If you're strong enough, you can become a cultivator of the Qingdi Mountain as well. You don't need to pay anything either. Those who study in the Qingdi Mountain are respected by everyone. If those people notice you, you'd be lucky. Besides, the Qingdi Mountain won't impose anything, you can choose the life you want. When you're strong enough, you can even stay there or choose other groups. Groups like the Celestial Qi Castle who choose to control their people aren't as powerful as the Qingdi Mountain. However, the Celestial Qi Castle won't let people they control get to know people from the Qingdi Mountain, otherwise they might lose them, said Mu Yun. Chapter 1539, Control Lin Feng. The hall they were staying in was silent. Jin Chenjun was standing behind Lin Feng and Mu Yun to make sure they didn't try anything funny. Lin Feng was extremely nervous. If they took control over his body, he would be doomed. However, he couldn't resist, otherwise they'd just kill him. He just had to count on his luck now. Some of those strong cultivators had lived for hundreds or even thousands of years, so how strong could they be? It was hard to imagine. I'll be fine, thought Lin Feng to himself. He was trying to cheer himself up. Even if some people controlled him, at least, he'd be alive. Mu Yun and Lin Feng were the same at that moment. Her heart was pounding, and she was very nervous about losing her life. Tap, tap, Lin Feng heard some steps. Then two people arrived, one of them was Chi Yuchen, while the other one had a mask on. But, his eyes looked particularly evil. Lin Feng's godly awareness shook violently when he saw those eyes. Master Mi, said Jin Chenjun, bowing respectfully. Master Mi acted as if he hadn't seen him. His social status must be extremely high. Master Mi fixedly stared at Lin Feng while released terrifying energies. Suddenly, Lin Feng had the impression that his thoughts were becoming chaotic. He already had such a sensation back when he met the woman in the ancient battlefield of the Huangxi, the one who used the great dream of life, cosmic energies. You're from the Celestial Qi Castle, you were born in the Celestial Qi Castle, you will die for the Celestial Qi Castle, the Celestial Qi Castle is your everything, said a voice in Lin Feng's brain. He wanted to print those pieces of information in Lin Feng's brain. No, how could? I will destroy the Celestial Qi Castle sooner or later. Lin Feng started resisting. He was very determined, but that voice kept resonating in his brain. As time dragged on, Lin Feng's resistance grew less and less. The strength started overcoming him, and he forgot everything as he listened to Master Mi's voice. Lin Feng, shouted Mu Yun, her face had turned pale. However, a powerful strength suddenly made her suffocate. Jin Chenjun glanced at Chi Yuchen and a terrifying force surrounded Mu Yun, pushing her outside the hall. Chi Yuchen knew that Master Mi couldn't be disturbed, this was a crucial moment in the process. He also left the hall, leaving only Lin Feng and Master Mi together. After a very long time, Master Mi said, "Sleep, once you wake up, you'll have a new life." Lin Feng slowly closed his eyes, obeying Master Mi. Then, he fell asleep and slowly fell to the floor. Through the holes of his mask, one could see from his eyes that Master Mi looked exhausted. He closed his eyes and then opened them again. Then, he lifted Lin Feng and took him out of the hall. Lin Feng was asleep, so he didn't know what was going on. Some white lights twinkled around his godly awareness, it was a cosmic energy, Master Mi's imprint. But the lights suddenly became dazzling, extremely dazzling, as if something was protecting Lin Feng from them. He had failed. Back then in the shrine, the envoy had tried to put something in Lin Feng's godly awareness but had failed too. The same thing had happened now with Master Mi. Master Mi wasn't as strong as the envoy, so he didn't realize it. He brought Lin Feng to another place while he was sleeping. For him, Lin Feng was already under his control. Lin Feng would be a new person after waking up and he'd work for the Celestial Qi Castle. In another beautiful room, Mu Yun looked at Chi Yuchen in a cold way. She was very weak, but she still hoped that everybody could be free in their world and that nobody would control anyone else. But now Lin Feng, a nice young man, was going to turn into an evil demon for the Celestial Qi Castle. "What are you going to do with me?" asked Mu Yun to Chi Yuchen. Chi Yuchen looked indifferent. He was a descendant of the Celestial Qi Castle, so he had a high social status. He wasn't spoilt though, he fought to get what he wanted. He knew that there were too many strong cultivators in their world. He could have easily gotten Mu Yun if he had forced her, but he wanted to work to make her his. Qi Yuchen didn't know that Mu Yun didn't dislike him, she just disliked the celestial Qi castle. She knew Qi Yuchen was good to her, but she didn't want to have anything to do with the celestial Qi castle. If Qi Yuchen had been from another group, then things might have been different. I really loved you, but don't worry, I won't rape a girl who hates me. Many of those people from the small worlds will be captured, and when the time comes, we'll need someone to host ceremonies. At that time, you'll do that, said Qi Yuchen. Mu Yun's facial expression changed drastically, and then she turned deathly pale. Qi Yuchen, you bastard. She obviously knew what it meant. It's an honor for you, maybe some incredible people will please you sexually, said Qi Yuchen. Concerning your tribe, don't worry, I'll find another good priestess for them. The people of your tribe will love her, and they'll forget about you. After that, Qi Yuchen left the room. As he was leaving he said, don't try to escape, you're beautiful, and there are many people who like beautiful women in the celestial Qi castle. They aren't as nice as me. Mu Yun felt powerless. She couldn't escape, and she was going to become a sex slave. Chapter 1540, Control. In a small forest, there was a great celestial Qi which made people feel extremely comfortable. Master Mi was sitting there when someone wearing purple clothes arrived. Master Mi was startled by them, although they looked at that Master Mi respectfully, they actually despised him. After a long time, Master Mi opened his eyes again, but he still couldn't see properly. Is it good now? Asked Master Mi. It's good now. I also asked the great master to go and check, said the person in purple clothes respectfully. All right, said Master Mi nodding. He glanced at Lin Feng who was lying next to him. Lin Feng opened his eyes, he had been awake for a while, but he could sense that Master Mi was looking at him. He stood up and bowed before Master Mi and that person in purple clothes. Then, he shouted respectfully, Master. Master Mi looked at Lin Feng expressionlessly. Controlling a cultivator of the 7th Zun Qi layer was easy for him, so he didn't feel proud. He had practiced that technique for 1,000 years already, and he had never failed. He could even control low-level emperors. All right. Master Mi finally stood up and said to Lin Feng, follow me. Roger, Master, said Lin Feng respectfully. The strong cultivator in purple clothes glanced at Lin Feng and followed them. But the cultivator in purple clothes waited for Lin Feng to walk next to him and whispered, this is the Master's small world, I know you still have your old memories, but here you must listen to your master and honor the celestial Qi castle. I understand, said Lin Feng nodding, and then he didn't say anything else. After a short time, they left the forest and some people appeared in their field of vision. Lin Feng calmly glanced at them. He recognized some of the people he knew. Ban Ruo, Li Hen, Xing Zhan. They were captured before him. Apart from them, there was also Yuan Fei and Wu Tian from the Abyss of Sufferings. Mu Chen had used his transformation spell to help people escape, but he couldn't help them all. Strength was one thing, luck was another. But it seemed that more people had escaped than he had first guessed. Those people also saw Lin Feng. Although they were surprised, especially Yuan Fei and Tiantai's disciples, it was only a strange feeling. For them, the celestial Qi castle was everything to them now. They were just surprised to see Lin Feng, so they nodded at him. Lin Feng was furious. He wanted to kill Master Mi, but he had to control himself. Nobody seemed to know that he wasn't being controlled. He was safe in the celestial Qi castle for now. Later, he would have opportunities to escape. Come, said Master Mi to one of the people. It was a person from Ba Huang. He was tall and looked aggressive. Kill him, said Master Mi pointing at Lin Feng. Lin Feng was startled, Master Mi wanted to check his strength. Arg! That person shouted and ran towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng sensed the oppressive energies, but Lin Feng didn't flinch. He couldn't have Master Me doubting him. A gigantic hand got closer, but Lin Feng raised his hands and released demonic chi in return. The two fists collided, and the ground beneath Lin Feng's feet exploded. Arg! That cultivator raised his head and suddenly he became gigantic, he had turned into an ape. His voice made stones explode, it also made Lin Feng's brain shake violently. He was stronger than Yuan Fei, he already had the strength of the very top of the Zun Qi layer. Break! Shouted Lin Feng furiously. He released force and threw it ahead. The sky shook as the gigantic ape shouted again. Lin Feng's godly awareness shook violently, it felt as if his head was going to explode. After all, that ape had probably been there for 100 years. Even though he hadn't broken through to the Huang Qi layer, he was still very strong. If he had fate seeds, do you think he'd become an emperor? Whispered Master Me to the person in purple clothes. If it was certain that someone was going to get stuck at the top of the Zun Qi layer, it was useless to waste fate seeds on them. Master, he needs a force multiplied by 1000 first. If he can't learn that, then we don't need to give him any, said the person in purple clothes. Master Me didn't reply and continued watching the battle. The ape was on the ground now, and Lin Feng was bombarding him furiously. That person can already defeat the ape. This year, people are a lot stronger than 100 years ago. Too bad those pieces of trash only managed to capture a few of them, said Master Me. Ask him his name, then take him to the Purple Army. Roger, Master, said the person in purple clothes. Master Me thought Lin Feng was extremely strong. People who joined the Purple Army had the potential to break through to the Huang Qi layer solely relying on their own abilities. Alright, said Master Me. The ape was going insane, but Master Me stopped the battle. The ape then calmed down. Pay attention to him during the first few days, said Master Me. Then, he left. What's your name? Asked the one in purple clothes. Lin Feng, replied Lin Feng calmly. Lin Feng couldn't lie, Yuan Fei and the others were there after all. He couldn't hide his strength either. Yuan Fei and the others were controlled by Master Me, so they'd report anything abnormal. Put those clothes on, said the person in purple, handing purple clothes to Lin Feng. Lin Feng said nothing and put them on. Disperse now, but you follow me, said the one in purple clothes. Everybody dispersed and the one in purple clothes took Lin Feng to a celestial place. Lin Feng followed without saying anything. He was safe, that was enough. A short time after, the one in purple clothes and Lin Feng arrived in a celestial forest where there were many other people already seated. They were practicing cultivation and their eyes were closed. They were also wearing purple clothes. Lin Feng couldn't sense their qi, so they were probably extremely strong. Chapter 1541, Dream Creation. Many people here are your masters. You can ask them for advice concerning cultivation at any time, including me, said the one in purple clothes while walking with Lin Feng. Alright, said Lin Feng nodding. Master Me seemed like he wanted to raise Lin Feng. The Celestial Qi Castle had captured those people and their goal was to make them stronger for their own interests. Against all expectations, Lin Feng was getting excited because of that. All the people here must be from Ba Huang, but now they're being controlled by the Celestial Qi Castle. How sad, thought Lin Feng. But apart from people who could break free, the number of people captured by the Imperial Assassin Union was already terrifying. The number of geniuses the Imperial Assassin Union had captured was terrifying. From now on, this place is where you can practice cultivation. You can come and find me anytime if you need some advice. They know the rules, and they won't kill you. However, some people don't like being disturbed. Even though they won't kill you, they might humiliate you, said the one in purple clothes laughing. He then walked faster and disappeared. Lin Feng glanced at those people who were seated cross-legged. Then, his silhouette flickered as he went to the top of the waterfall. He glanced down and saw someone in the waterfall. That person was using punching attacks, but their fists had turned into ice cubes. Master Mi must be a strong medium-level emperor. He must be one of the strongest cultivators of Celestial Qi Castle. Besides, this is his small world and it's a great place to practice all sorts of cultivation, thought Lin Feng. Then, he moved again. Lin Feng found a place and sat down cross-legged to start practicing cultivation. He released his spirit and his celestial book spirit appeared. It was the demonic territory. Then, in his hands, a bronze tablet appeared. It was the tablet he had bought in the buffer zone. Lin Feng put the tablet in the territory, and in a flash, lights dazzled, and the bronze tablet turned into a light which formed a gigantic building. Lin Feng was stupefied. His spirit allowed the tablet to transform into its real form. Everlasting, thought Lin Feng. Indeed, the old man had told him that item came from the everlasting cave of the immortals, but that place wasn't the everlasting cave of the immortals, it was an everlasting celestial palace. There's nothing interesting about the palace though, it doesn't seem useful, thought Lin Feng shaking his head. He then put it away, the lights disappeared, and Lin Feng stopped thinking about it. Lin Feng took out some ancient scriptures and placed them in the territory. A long time passed in the outside world before Lin Feng opened his eyes again. The dream of life ancient scriptures, a dream is made for the awareness and the awareness just wanders in a dream for 1,000 years, whispered Lin Feng. He took out a fate seed, a dream fate seed. Of course, he didn't want to use it to break through to the Huang Qi layer, he just held it in his hand and studied its great dream strength. It gave him a feeling, like he wanted to practice the dream of life ancient scriptures. The dream of life ancient scriptures and the 3 live scriptures were both similar in that they were ancient scriptures. Lin Feng liked demonic cultivation and knew other types of energies. This time, he was studying the dream of life ancient scriptures, but he had the impression that he had never studied anything similar so far. Usually, people in large and powerful groups studied skills and techniques which allowed them to carry out powerful attacks, but the dream of life ancient scriptures acted more as an assistance to cultivators. The reason why Lin Feng was studying the dream of life ancient scriptures was to prepare himself for the 3 live scriptures. Gradually, Lin Feng fell into a deep meditative state. Even though studying ancient scriptures wasn't something that could be done in the blink of an eye, at Lin Feng's level, learning ancient scriptures didn't take Lin Feng that long. After half a day, he could already start dreaming and studying in that dream. The advantage of studying in a dream was that he could focus. In a dream, everything was an illusion, but on the other hand, he really was practicing cultivation and becoming stronger. 3 days later, Lin Feng stopped practicing cultivation and went to the waterfall. The one who was there before saw Lin Feng approaching, so he raised his head. Suddenly, a gigantic hand moved towards Lin Feng. That's cosmic strength, how scary, thought Lin Feng. He condensed force and jumped forwards while releasing demonic qi. Then the punches collided. With some crackling sounds, each of the fists broke apart. Even though cosmic energies were strong, the enemy had attacked without thinking too much, so Lin Feng broke the energies. You're a demonic cultivator, I can't teach you anything, said the cultivator to Lin Feng. Lin Feng walked forwards and said, Master, I need you to help me. Please oppress me with a force that is multiplied by 700, then 800, then 900 and then 1,000. Are you sure? Asked his interlocutor. I am, thank you, Master. Lin Feng sat down cross-legged in the waterfall before the emperor released force. Although it was very painful, he observed the force calmly and serenely. Interesting, said the river emperor smiling. He was surprised, so he increased the intensity of his force. Lin Feng groaned, but was still seated, he remained calm as if it wasn't painful. Force multiplied by 800, 900 and then 1,000 crashed onto his body. Lin Feng felt like he was going to suffocate. But he remained motionless like a mountain. Should I continue? Asked the river emperor. He knew that Lin Feng couldn't learn much in such a short time. The reason why people learned force quickly in the celestial walls manner was because there were 8 walls with varying forces. That way, any cultivator could move from wall to change the pressure at their own will. With the help of someone else, it was more difficult because they couldn't know when they had to change the intensity. It's alright, thank you, Master. Lin Feng opened his eyes and left. He went back to the place where he had been practicing cultivation and released more dream strength. Lin Feng lied down, then he started breathing slowly, and fell asleep. Lin Feng started dreaming that the River Emperor was oppressing him with force, bombarding his body continuously. If the River Emperor knew what Lin Feng was doing, he would be extremely surprised. He thought that Lin Feng didn't gain much from his help, but actually Lin Feng needed his help creating a dream to continuously practice in. Chapter 1542, Competing studying force in a dream was less difficult than doing it in the outside world. Lin Feng felt relaxed as he studied it in his dream. A few days later, a silhouette appeared in front of Lin Feng, but Lin Feng didn't see that person because he was still dreaming. The one in purple clothes frowned. At that moment, Lin Feng was breathing slowly, he looked calm and peaceful. He had no qi around him and the outside world didn't affect him at all. He couldn't be practicing cultivation, he was sleeping. He was sleeping too peacefully. The one in purple clothes looked unhappy about that. Lin Feng, shouted the one in purple clothes. Lin Feng woke up suddenly. With his strength, he could only create low-level dreams which could easily be broken. Master, said Lin Feng standing up. While practicing cultivation in a dream, he wasn't aware of what was happening outside. That would be a problem. The one in purple clothes looked at Lin Feng unhappily and said, "Come with me." Lin Feng followed the one in purple clothes. He didn't care about what the one in purple clothes thought about him. He needed to become stronger. He could become stronger in his dreams and nobody would know about it. That was the best way to hide the fact that he was becoming stronger. He could gain even more time that way. The one in purple clothes brought Lin Feng to the celestial forest where they were last time. The others were gathered there too. This time, we're going to the buffer zone because we have things to do, said the one in purple clothes to Lin Feng. The others already knew about that because Lin Feng was the last one to arrive. Let's go, the group then started flying and left the forest. After a short time, the one in purple clothes went into a tree and disappeared. That tree is the exit of our small world. Back then, the small world in which Yen Di had created had a tree as an exit, and then there was that tree in the lovesickness forest. Lin Feng and the others went into the tree and appeared in the outside world. There was a tree behind them, it appeared so normal that it was hard to imagine that it led to a small world. Chi Yu Chen was there too. He walked to Lin Feng and looked at him mockingly. He looked amused because Mu Yun had betrayed him and afterwards, Lin Feng had become one of their slaves. Do you like Mu Yun? Asked Chi Yu Chen to Lin Feng indifferently. Be honest, you must listen to his orders, said the one in purple clothes. Lin Feng nodded and then replied to Chi Yu Chen, indeed. Chi Yu Chen was convinced that Lin Feng liked Mu Yun, so Lin Feng had to say what Chi Yu Chen thought. You must look at my eyes when replying, and you should call me Master, said Chi Yu Chen. Master, I like Mu Yun, indeed, said Lin Feng bowing to Chi Yu Chen. When his head was lowered, Lin Feng looked extremely pissed off. Of course, it was just during the time that he lowered his head, when he raised his head again, he looked indifferent again. Chi Yu Chen looked at Lin Feng and smiled happily. He really enjoyed seeing Lin Feng submit to him like that. I'll let you enjoy her beauty sometime then, said Chi Yu Chen laughing. Then, he turned around and talked to himself, even though he's in purple clothes, he's only one of the celestial Qi Castle's slaves. Mu Yun, you'll definitely regret your choices. Let's go, said the leader of the group. Lin Feng had already seen him in the small world. It was a medium-level emperor. The group rose up in the air and flew towards the buffer zone. Soon, the 9 great celestial castles would start competing to gain control over the small worlds. The place where they were going to compete was at the buffer zone. The other castles were coming too. When they arrived, Lin Feng noticed that there were even more people than the first time he had been there. "Master, how are we going to compete to gain control over the small worlds?" asked Lin Feng to the one in purple. At the same time, they landed in a magnificent palace. A competition between the young people who are less than 50 years old. "The 3 groups whose young people are the strongest gain control over the small worlds," replied the emperor in purple clothes. Everybody knew that already. They couldn't make the leaders fight because they didn't want a great and tragic war. They didn't want their leaders to lose face either. That's why the rule had been determined a long time before. The Qingdi Mountain managed the event. Lin Feng glanced at Qi Yuchen and the people next to him. Those people seemed to be the core disciples of the Celestial Qi Castle. Those people didn't seem like they were going to fight. It seemed like they were there to ensure that everything would happen without any problems. "Lin Feng, you don't need to worry about what Qi Yuchen does, Master Mi thinks highly of you. Practice cultivation and become an emperor, then follow Master Mi, and in the future, you'll have a higher social status than Qi Yuchen in the Celestial Qi Castle," said the one in the purple clothes. "Thank you very much, Master," said Lin Feng politely. On the inside, he wasn't happy though. If he had really been controlled, even if he had broken through to the Huang Qi layer, it would have been useless. He didn't need to tell him he had to practice cultivation, Lin Feng already knew that. But his goal after becoming an emperor wasn't to serve Master Mi though, it was to kill him. A short time after, someone welcomed the crowd. It was an emperor from the Celestial Qi Castle, Jin Chenjun. Jin Chenjun walked to them. He glanced at Lin Feng and smiled at the emperor in purple clothes. "The person I brought to Master Mi isn't bad, right?" "Thank you, Jin Chenjun," said the one in purple clothes while smiling politely. "Don't thank me, as long as Master Mi is satisfied, then I'm happy," said Jin Chenjun smiling. He looked at Lin Feng and said, "I wouldn't have thought that you'd get purple clothes that quickly." "Thank you, Jin Chenjun," said Lin Feng. "Alright, everybody gather in front of me." "First, you need to rest for a day," said Jin Chenjun smiling. He then brought everybody to a hall where Lin Feng saw many beautiful women waiting. "Lin Feng, those beautiful women are priestesses, and they're all virgins. Each 10,000 years, when we compete to gain control over the small worlds, the priestesses act as hostesses. Find a girl you like, and she'll be your escort," said the emperor in purple clothes. Lin Feng wasn't excited. He was furious. He finally understood why Mu Yun was scared when she had seen the knights at the gate. Priestesses had no freedom, their lives were in those people's hands. Usually, their lives weren't that sad, but sometimes, they had to act as escorts. "Is Mu Yun there or not?" thought Lin Feng glancing at the crowd, but he didn't see her. Chapter 1543, Qingdi Mountains cultivators. That night, there were candles placed everywhere. Lin Feng was asleep and dreaming while cultivating. The one in purple clothes rose up in the air and used his godly awareness to inspect Lin Feng's room. He wanted to see if Lin Feng was practicing cultivation, but a cold facial expression appeared on his face after he saw that Lin Feng was sleeping again. He was lying on his bed and snoring. He was furious. He had told him a few times to practice cultivation, that he needed to break through to the Huang Qi layer, and that he'd be stronger than Qi Yuchen someday. On the second day, those who were controlled had to practice cultivation, but Lin Feng kept sleeping. However, the one in purple clothes didn't wake him up. He wanted to see how long Lin Feng would sleep. But Lin Feng's ability to sleep surprised him because Lin Feng slept for 10 days straight. Strong cultivators were gathering outside, but it seemed like the outside world had nothing to do with him. On that day, the one in purple clothes couldn't let Lin Feng sleep any longer. He entered Lin Feng's room angrily. Wake him up, said the emperor in purple clothes to a priestess. The priestess nodded and entered Lin Feng's room. Master, shouted the priestess, but Lin Feng didn't move. She was surprised, she grabbed his arm and shouted again, Master. Boom, the priestess was suddenly propelled away and crashed into a wall, breaking a piece of it off. Then she fell to the ground, her face was deathly pale, and she was bleeding from her mouth. What's going on? The emperor in purple clothes' facial expression changed drastically. He walked over to the girl who said, Master. When she had touched Lin Feng's arm, she sensed a terrifying force assault her. If she had been a bit weaker, she would have died. I'm sorry, Master, I slept for a long time, said Lin Feng, stepping out of the room. When I sleep, I'm not used to people touching my body. It seems like I'll have to be careful next time if I want to practice cultivation while sleeping, thought Lin Feng. The emperor in purple clothes didn't seem happy. You know that you slept for a long time then, said the emperor in purple clothes unhappily. Only a few days are left before the start of the competition. Roger, Master, said Lin Feng, nodding. Then, he left with the emperor. They left Jin Chenjun's palace, and after a short time, they arrived at Public Square. It seemed to be made especially for battles. There were 9 bleachers for people to watch battles from. Apart from the seats on the bleachers, people could also stand on the edge to watch the battles. At that moment, many people were there already. Those battles happened every 10,000 years, so of course people didn't want to miss them. Just like the small world, people from the great world like to use battle stages. Thought Lin Feng, glancing at the gigantic battle stages. Lin Feng followed the emperor in purple clothes. Everybody else was already gathered together. Some people who were going to fight for the celestial Qi castle were there too. There was a gigantic cauldron in the bleachers which was used to make sacrifices to their ancestors. They've been protecting the place for a few days already. I told you to practice cultivation, but in the end, you just slept. You're wasting your talent and humiliating Master Me who thinks so highly of you, said the emperor in purple clothes, scolding Lin Feng. I'm sorry for my mistakes, said Lin Feng calmly. He was amused on the inside though. Those people who controlled him hoped he'd become stronger. However, if he became stronger, then he might be doomed. Alright, we're staying here these days. Maybe some incredible people will come, so don't talk carelessly. Your life belongs to the celestial Qi castle, so you can't go and cause trouble. Of course, if someone comes and causes trouble, just listen to my orders, said the emperor in purple clothes. He seemed a bit worried about Lin Feng. He had been sleeping the whole time. If Lin Feng continued sleeping the whole time, he'd only have himself to blame after they gave up on him. Roger, Master, said Lin Feng. Then, he went to the bleachers and sat down cross-legged. He immediately started dreaming again. The emperor in purple clothes was astonished. He didn't understand, was Lin Feng practicing cultivation or sleeping? Was he hiding something? Lin Feng had no qi at that moment and he looked like he was sleeping. Forget it, he can do whatever he wants these days. After some time, I'll check his cultivation and I'll know if he was practicing or not, thought the emperor in purple clothes. Then, he ignored Lin Feng. At that moment, on the side of the celestial Qi castle, the emperor in purple clothes looked grave and solemn. He gazed into the distance as some people were approaching. They all looked like princes, confident, at ease and extraordinary. Lin Feng, get up, said a voice in Lin Feng's brain. He opened his eyes and saw all the members of the celestial Qi castle gazing into the distance. Lin Feng looked at them, and they looked extraordinary indeed. They seemed like they were one with the earth and sky. They looked to only be about 30 years old, but they were all emperors. Of course, Lin Feng knew that they were probably older. Welcome, incredible people from the Qingdi mountain, said the emperor in purple clothes and Jin Chenjun while bowing politely before those people. Lin Feng and the others also bowed before them. Qingdi Mountain's cultivators, thought Lin Feng. Those young people were all cultivators from the Qingdi Mountain. No wonder the emperor in purple clothes and Jin Chenjun were acting so polite. That's little Yu Chen, right? Said one of the young men who was smiling at Qi Yuchen. Uncle Yunsheng, that's me, said Qi Yuchen smiling at Qi Yunsheng. His eyes were filled with cold lights. Yunsheng was his uncle and he had become a cultivator of Qingdi Mountain. In the future, he become one of the leaders of Celestial Qi Castle. Not bad. This time, there will be a great cultivator representing Qingdi Mountain and many others from the Qingdi Mountain. Show us how strong you are and maybe you'll become a cultivator of Qingdi Mountain as well. A small fish will join dragons, said Qi Yunsheng tapping Qi Yuchen's shoulder. Then, he looked at the other cultivators from the Qi clan and said, make great efforts to show us how strong you are. Even though many of you don't have the family name, Qi, in the Celestial Qi Castle, you are part of their family. Besides, the Qingdi Mountain doesn't care about your family name, only strength and talent matter to them. Roger, Master, said everybody bowing. Chapter 1544, Emperor Shen Yu. Shortly after that, all the cultivators from Qingdi Mountain arrived. Those who arrived with Qi Yunshen were those with whom he had made friends within the Qingdi Mountain. Young people who became part of the Qingdi Mountain were not only talented, but lucky as well. People from the other 9 great celestial castles also arrived. Besides, amongst the people from the Qingdi Mountain, many of them were from the 9 great celestial castles. However, few of them had a very high social status in Qingdi Mountain. The 9 great celestial castles were composed of, the Celestial Qi Castle, the Celestial Si Kong Castle, the Celestial Wen Castle, the Ancient Celestial Castle, the Celestial Summer Castle, the Palace of Medicinal Kings, the Celestial Palace of Punishing Thunders, the Great Celestial Palace of Thoughtfulness, and the Celestial Transformation Palace. The 9 great celestial castles were all situated on Qingdi Mountain's territories. Yu Chen, more strong cultivators from the Qingdi Mountain will arrive soon. You'll come with me to meet them, and when the time comes, you'll show them how strong you are, said Qi Yunsheng to Qi Yuchen. Qi Yuchen looked happy suddenly. He bowed and said, thank you very much, uncle. Lin Feng was standing next to the stage. He glanced at the crowd and thought, the 9 great celestial castles are not the only actors, the Qingdi Mountain also plays a role. Besides the competition, the 9 great celestial castles will also seek opportunities to send their own disciples to the Qingdi Mountain. There were people everywhere. Lin Feng saw many people he knew. On the side of the celestial Si Kong Castle, he saw Si Kong Zhangming. On the side of the ancient celestial castle, he saw Gu Li. On the side of the celestial summer castle, he saw the extraordinary Xia Tian Fan. On the side of the celestial palace of punishing thunders, he saw the messenger. On the side of the celestial transformation palace, he saw Qiao Qi Feng. On the side of the great celestial palace of thoughtfulness, he saw Zhou Tian Ruo and Zhou Tian Shao. Those people were all young cultivators from the 9 great celestial castles. That's why they had gone to the small world to practice cultivation. It made sense now that they weren't all good friends while in Ba Huang. If there were conflicts between their elders, there were conflicts between them too. Lin Feng looked at the celestial Si Kong Castle, but he didn't see anyone he knew. Lin Feng saw Emperor Yu, but he looked like an ordinary person. He was looking at the Celestial Qi Castle's people. When he saw Lin Feng, he looked incredibly sad. He also noticed Ban Ruo, Li Hen, Xing Zhan and Yuan Fei. They all looked empty as they stood on the Celestial Qi Castle's side. It's all my fault, thought Emperor Yu. His heart hurt as he felt guilty, especially for Lin Feng. Lin Feng wanted to protect him because he was injured. A short time after, some clouds rolled in the sky and a group of people appeared. The leader of the group looked incredible. He was riding a blue-green lotus and 2 strong cultivators were standing behind him. Emperor Ni Chen is here. One of those people was a strong cultivator from the Qingdi mountain, Emperor Ni Chen. All the strong cultivators from the 9 great celestial castles and Qingdi mountain stood up for Emperor Ni Chen. I've heard that Emperor Ni Chen is now a high-level emperor, which means that his strength is unfathomable. He has a very high social status in Qingdi mountain, said someone in the crowd to someone else. Who are those people next to Emperor Ni Chen? Incredible cultivators from Qingdi mountain, thought some people in the crowd. One of them was wearing black clothes and looked enigmatic. He was just smiling at everyone. People couldn't ignore him even if he wasn't next to Emperor Ni Chen. Besides, he was sitting next to Emperor Ni Chen, which meant he was probably almost as strong as Emperor Ni Chen. They just didn't know if he was from Qingdi mountain. Yu Chen, come with me, said Qi Yunsheng at that moment, rising in the air. They flew towards the newcomers in the center. Qi Yunsheng and Qi Yuchen were not the only ones. The other cultivators from the 9 great celestial castles who were cultivators from Qingdi mountain also rose into the air and flew towards Emperor Ni Chen. Welcome, Master, said the crowd bowing politely. In the Qingdi mountain, Emperor Ni Chen was high in the hierarchy. No need to exaggerate yourselves, said Emperor Ni Chen smiling naturally. Emperor Ni Chen, Ao Feng is your follower, is he being obedient? Asked one of the emperors from the Celestial One Castle to Emperor Ni Chen smiling. The crowd looked furious because Emperor Ni Chen thought highly of One Ao Feng and had taken him as a disciple. The Celestial One Castle was gaining more and more influence recently. Ao Feng is very talented. A bright future awaits him, I'm sure, said Emperor Ni Chen smiling. Thank you, Master, I won't worry then, said that emperor bowing. He smiled at Wen Ao Feng behind him and said, Ao Feng, how come you haven't invited Emperor Ni Chen to come to the Celestial One Castle yet? Ao Feng came closer and said, Teacher, please do. Alright, said Emperor Ni Chen smiling. Then, he looked at the one in black clothes and said, Emperor Shenyu, please. The person in black clothes remained silent and followed Emperor Ni Chen. They flew in the direction of the people from the Celestial One Castle. Nobody else even had the opportunity to say anything. Who's Emperor Shenyu? Thought the crowd. Emperor Ni Chen was extremely polite to him, so just what was his social status? Qi Yunsheng went back to Celestial Qi Castle and said to Qi Yuchen, did you see that? The Celestial One Castle has One Ao Feng. The Celestial One Castle has a different position within the Qingdi mountain nowadays, don't miss that opportunity and do your best to be noticed by Emperor Ni Chen. Of course, Emperor Ni Chen and Emperor Shenyu didn't forget about their responsibilities. Emperor Ni Chen smiled and said, Emperor Shenyu, what do you think about my young people? Emperor Shenyu's eyes were twinkling. He glanced at the young people, and when he looked at the people from the Celestial Qi Castle, he was surprised. He had found what he was looking for, so he said, not bad. Emperor Ni Chen was surprised, Emperor Shenyu hadn't smiled until now. At that moment, on the side of Celestial Qi Castle, Lin Feng shivered. Had he sensed that someone was looking at him? Chapter 1545, Insane and arrogant. The atmosphere eventually calmed down. Then Qi Yunshao said, it's about time. Let's perform the sacrifice to our ancestors. Roger, Master, said the one next to him nodding. Then, he went to the Celestial Qi Castle's cauldron and a sound resonated. The women who walked out had incredible figures, especially the ones who were wearing traditional qipao. On the side of the Celestial Qi Castle, it was a beautiful priestess, she was very white and looked stunning. All the priestesses of the different castles appeared, thought the crowd. The priestess from the Celestial Qi Castle looked stunning, she looked even more attractive because she had a mask on her face. Lin Feng looked indifferently at that priestess dancing in front of the cauldron. The fact that she was wearing a mask made her even more desirable. She's beautiful, right? Said a voice in Lin Feng's head. It was Qi Yuchen using telepathy. Lin Feng frowned and remembered what Qi Yuchen had said, he would show him her beauty later. Did that mean that? Lin Feng was suddenly furious. He looked at all the priestesses and then looked at the priestess from the celestial Qi castle again, beautiful body, beautiful long white legs. It's Yun, thought Lin Feng. She had been chosen to be the ancestors' priestess. Finally, 3 sounds resonated and the members from the Qi clan stood up. All the priestesses moved back and stood in front of the bleachers. Take off your masks, said Qiyu-chen. The girls took off their masks one after the other. The leader of the group was Mu Yun. Mu Yun looked at Lin Feng. She thought Lin Feng was like her, that he had lost his freedom. Uncle, masters, I chose those girls myself. Do you like them? Asked Qiyu-chen calmly. Sex wasn't something common in the world of cultivation. People usually spent time practicing cultivation, however, once in a while, cultivators enjoyed some carnal pleasures. Qi Yunsheng thought those girls weren't bad, indeed. The strong cultivators next to him looked satisfied too. Qi Yunsheng looked at Mu Yun and asked, "What's your name?" "Uncle, that girl's name is Mu Yun." "Alright, I like her," said Qi Yunsheng. Mu Yun grinded her teeth, her face was deathly pale. Then Qi Yuchen smiled at Mu Yun in a cold way. She couldn't refuse after he had chosen her. She would be his toy now, only existing to make him happy. However, Lin Feng turned around and said to Qi Yunsheng, "Master, I'd like to say something." "Oh." Qi Yunsheng looked at Lin Feng. He was from the celestial Qi castle, and he was wearing purple clothes, which meant that he was a talented cultivator from a small world. "Lin Feng," said the emperor in purple clothes. What was going on with Lin Feng? "Master, I'd like to say something for the master from the Qingdi mountain so that he won't get angry," said Lin Feng to the emperor in purple clothes. Then, he looked at Qi Yunsheng and said, "Master, before serving the celestial Qi castle, I used to hide in a small tribe in the desert. She protected me from the celestial Qi castle. I lived in her tribe for some time and actually had sex with her. Back then, Qi Yuchen liked her, so he got upset after learning about her betrayal, and forced her to attend." Qi Yunsheng frowned, he looked furious. If that was true, it meant that Mu Yun wasn't a virgin and that Qi Yunsheng was fooling him. Qi Yuchen was suddenly covered with a cold sweat. His eyes were filled with cold lights. He was fixedly staring at Lin Feng and Mu Yun. "Did you really have sex?" "I lived with her for a while, so of course we did," said Lin Feng calmly. Mu Yun looked at Lin Feng with surprise. Lin Feng wasn't being controlled. "Indeed, I wouldn't want to lie to you," said Mu Yun bowing before Qi Yunsheng. "Uncle, I didn't know she was a slut who dared violate Celestial Qi Castle's rules," pleaded Qi Yuchen. It's all right, just let her go," said Qi Yunsheng. He didn't mind such a small thing. "Mu Yun, you just wait to see what will happen to you," said Qi Yuchen coldly. Lin Feng talked again, "Master." The emperor in purple clothes frowned. Lin Feng was acting strange. "Master, since she's my woman, please give her to me," said Lin Feng to the emperor in purple clothes. The emperor in purple clothes frowned, he was speechless. He didn't know what to do. Lin Feng was in their control, and Master Mi also thought highly of him. Qi Yuchen had the blood of the Qi clan, but his social status wasn't as high as the purple-clothed emperors. "Dream on. She'll be punished. She violated rules after all," yelled Qi Yuchen. After saying that, he sensed a terrifying death qi surround his body. Tap, Lin Feng slowly walked towards Qi Yuchen. The ground started shaking and Qi Yuchen's heart started racing. "Lin Feng," shouted the emperor in purple clothes. What was going on with Lin Feng? He had been sleeping the whole time and now he wanted to attack Qi Yuchen. "Master, I listened to Master Mi's orders, but he never told me to listen to Qi Yuchen. I respect him, but this time he humiliated him and humiliated my woman. What else should I do?" said Lin Feng as he continued to walk towards Qiyu Chen while releasing energies. Qiyu Chen frowned, he didn't understand what was wrong with Lin Feng. Even though he was furious, Lin Feng was extremely strong, he felt like he was suffocating. Qi Yunxing seemed excited. Lin Feng had only broken through to the 7th Zun Qi layer and his force was multiplied by 700 already, not bad. Boom boom, the bleachers shook violently as gigantic waves of energies crashed onto Qiyu Chen. Lin Feng was releasing death energies which were draining out his life. He took a few steps back and looked distraught. That's enough. Don't ridicule the celestial Qi castle in front of everyone, said Qi Yunxing indifferently. Lin Feng recalled his Qi, but he was still looking at him in a cold way as he said, "Who the fuck do you think you are? In the future, you better respect me. If you're unhappy, go and see Master Me to complain." He didn't give him any face and even humiliated him. He served the celestial Qi castle and Master Me, so he had to find any excuse to get angry, for example, a woman. "Who the fuck do you think you are?" Lin Feng's voice and swear words echoed in his head. Chapter 1546, part of the audience. Qiyu Chen looked furious and released Qi, but then he heard Qi Yunxing say, "That's enough. Yu Chen, do what you have to do." Qiyu Chen looked upset, but he nodded and recalled his Qi. He was still looking at Lin Feng in a cold way as he said, "Lin Feng, I will show you just who I am." Lin Feng ignored him. Then Qi Yunxiao said, "That girl is Lin Feng, so give her to him. Then make the others go. Yu Chen, get ready to enter the battle stage." "Roger." "Thank you, Master," said Qiyu Chen and Lin Feng at the same time. Mu Yun smiled indifferently. Lin Feng had saved her. Mu Yun and the other priestesses moved away. Qiyu Chen was furious though, and he didn't plan on to let them off that easily. "Next time, you better not cause trouble," said the emperor in purple clothes. That was the competition for the small worlds, there were millions of people watching them. Some extraordinary cultivators were there and Lin Feng surprisingly dared cause trouble. Luckily, Lin Feng was strong, for if he had been weak, he would have died on spot. Qi Yunxiao only gave Mu Yun to Lin Feng to give Master Me face. He had had no choice but give her to Lin Feng because she wasn't a virgin, otherwise Qi Yunxing could have her if he wanted. That confrontation had drawn many people's attention, but it didn't last not for long. At that moment, a strong cultivator from the Celestial One Castle, who oversaw the event, stood up and waved at the crowd. Everybody remained silent and waited for him to talk. Many people were upset with him. The Celestial One Castle had asked Emperor Ni Chen to sit with them. How arrogant was that? "Everybody, I don't need to say much because you already know the rules, they're always the same each time around." The strong cultivator from the Celestial One Castle turned to Emperor Ni Chen and smiled, "Emperor Ni Chen, shall we start?" "Don't worry about me. Just do as you wish," said Emperor Ni Chen smiling indifferently. The strong cultivator from the Celestial One Castle nodded and said, "The 9 great celestial castles will each choose 9 people, then a total of 81 people will get on the stage." Instantly, some young people walked towards the battling stages. On the side of the celestial Qi castle, Qiyu Chen and the others ran towards the battle stage. For them, that day was extremely important, it would determine who'd control the small worlds and they might attract Qingdi Mountain's attention, possibly recruiting them. "Emperor Ni Chen, would you like to preside over the event?" asked the cultivator from Celestial One Castle to Emperor Ni Chen. The competition was fair, each person had to fight against every fighter from the 8 other celestial castles. From there, the first 18 cultivators would be selected and the ranking would be made. The first cultivator had 18 points, the second one 17, the 18th would have 1 point. In the end, the 3 groups which had the most points gained control over the small worlds for the next 10,000 years. They only took 18 people because they wanted to consider the strongest cultivators only. At that moment, everybody was thinking that Emperor Ni Chen's disciple, Wen Ao Feng, would get the 18 points and finish first. But the others could also get ranked. "You go," said Emperor Ni Chen to someone next to him. He didn't want to preside over the event. That person nodded and flew to the center. It didn't matter who did it, those battles were going to be very fair and the ranking would be straightforward. Many of those strong young people had been practicing cultivation a little bit everywhere. Some of them even went to the small worlds. "I wonder how strong they've become," thought the crowd. Lin Feng looked at them. Back then, in the small world, he had participated in a few competitions. This time Lin Feng could only watch. It was a good opportunity for him to see how strong the cultivators were. Most of them were cultivators of the 8th or 9th Zun Qi layer. Cultivators of the 7th Zun Qi layer were common. After a short time, the battle started. The first battle was between the Celestial Wen Castle and the Celestial Qi Castle. Even though they could surrender as they wished, none of them were willing to. Finally, the one from the Celestial Wen Castle won the battle, but he was injured. They're both cultivators of the 8th Zun Qi layer, but they can easily defeat cultivators of the 9th Zun Qi layer, thought Lin Feng. The 9 young people who had been chosen by their respective celestial castles were amazingly strong. Of course, if those 2 cultivators wanted to finish in the top 18, it'd be difficult. Those Lin Feng had seen in the small world, such as Zhou Tianrua, Gu Li, and Xiao Qi Feng were much stronger than those 2. The second battle was Zhou Tianrua against a cultivator of the 9th Zun Qi layer. Zhou Tianrua released golden holy qi which lacerated the sky. As expected, Zhou Tianrua had become stronger since the last time Lin Feng had seen him. As the battles went on, the crowd grew more and more surprised. Each one had to fight against all the cultivators from all the other groups, which meant that if they didn't die, each person had to fight 73 times. Therefore, the battles were going to last a while. Lin Feng observed the battles very seriously. Many of the people who were fighting weren't as strong as the geniuses from Ba Huang. After all, the strongest geniuses of Ba Huang province were rare birds. If the strong geniuses from the Ba Huang province fought on the battle stage, they would have probably amazed a lot of people. Of course, amongst those fighters, there were also people who were talented, such as Wen Ao Feng. He had fought against a cultivator of the 9th Zun Qi layer, and when their fists collided, his enemy had been crushed to death. That cultivator was from the celestial Si Kong Castle. Although it upset them to lose their fighter, they couldn't do much about it. More than 100 battles took place and it then grew dark outside. The strong cultivator from the Celestial Wen Castle looked at Emperor Ni Chen and said, "Master, should we have a rest? The battles can continue tomorrow." "All right," said Emperor Ni Chen nodding. Even though darkness didn't affect cultivators, having a rest was a good opportunity for the young cultivators from Qingdi Mountain and the 9 great celestial castles to make friends. Then the strong cultivator from the Celestial Wen Castle nodded and interrupted the battles. Oh. Chapter 1547, Rescue. "Let's go back," said Qi Yunsheng. They hadn't done that bad for the first day, but Qi Yunsheng still wasn't happy. The Celestial Wen Castle had the best results during the first day. Wen Ao Feng wasn't the only strong cultivator from Celestial Wen Castle. They had 2 other cultivators who had the potential to earn the 18 points. Wen Ao Feng's ranking was already quite high, so if the 3 cultivators from Celestial Wen Castle continued doing so well, they'd rank at the top of the 18. The group from Celestial Qi Castle left the bleachers and the others also dispersed. Many people couldn't wait to see the remaining battles. All of that had nothing to do with Lin Feng though. He followed the group of people from Celestial Qi Castle and found Mu Yun waiting aside. Qi Yuchen looked at Mu Yun in a cold way and said, "What are you doing here?" "Master already gave Yun to me," said Lin Feng, stopping in front of Qi Yuchen. Qi Yuchen rolled up his sleeves and left ignoring them. Yun, let's go, said Lin Feng. They didn't say anything after they left. They immediately went back to Celestial Qi Castle and Lin Feng brought her inside his room. Lin Feng, you, said Mu Yun looking at Lin Feng with her beautiful eyes while using telepathy. She wanted to be sure. Indeed, replied Lin Feng nodding. Mu Yun smiled thinly. How had he done that? Yun, you can sleep on my bed, and you can stay with me for a while, said Lin Feng. He was now enemies with Qi Yuchen, and he wouldn't let Lin Feng and Mu Yun off that easily. Yun wasn't that strong, so if Qi Yuchen wanted to do anything to her, she wouldn't stand a chance without Lin Feng. Lin Feng thought of making Yun hide inside the Jade Emperor's palace, but his social status was special. He was supposed to be controlled. If Yun disappeared, they would think that he possessed a special item. Mu Yun blushed. Even though Lin Feng said they had had sex, it was just to protect her. Now, they were in the same room and Lin Feng wanted her to sleep on his bed. She felt very shy but she nodded and lied down. Lin Feng sat down in front of the bed. Mu Yun was a nice and kind-hearted girl. Lin Feng was wondering how he could save her. Strength, strength, always more strength. Lin Feng decided to dream again and practice cultivation there. He had to become stronger. The night was calm and peaceful. Sometime during that quiet night, a dark silhouette appeared, and nobody noticed them. Not bad, but since they're controlled, I can't make those people talk, thought the dark silhouette. However, he was surprised to see some people in the courtyard. The dark shadow frowned. Qi Yuchen and Jin Chenjun were laughing and walking. They soon left the courtyard. After they left, the silhouette entered silently and walked in the direction of Lin Feng's room. Qi Yuchen turned around and laughed. Lin Feng had dared humiliate him, so now he would make Lin Feng understand what it meant to have the blood of the Qis. Mu Yun was going to regret it too. The dark shadow crouched down, not far from Lin Feng's room. Then they saw someone stop outside Lin Feng's room and release some cosmic energy. Dream cosmic energy, the dark shadow looked amused. The person they saw was a dream cultivator. At that moment, the shadow was surprised. Something was crawling towards Lin Feng's room as well. Interesting, thought the shadow laughing in a low voice. That night was going to be interesting. Dream of life, said someone outside of Lin Feng's room. Dream cosmic energy penetrated Lin Feng's room, and it was both silent and invisible. The one who was moving stealthily opened Lin Feng's door and saw Lin Feng. He was seated and looked relaxed. That person smiled coldly. They had sent him to deal with a cultivator of the 7th Zun Qi layer, but they had overestimated Lin Feng. Of course, Qi Yuchen just wanted someone who could remain silent and invisible. The assassin he had sent could make Lin Feng fall asleep and then kill him effortlessly. Sleep forever, said the cultivator crawling. However, at that moment, he was surprised. Kaboom! That terrifying strength immediately pierced his chest. Then a hand grabbed Lin Feng and pulled him to the ground. The dream cultivator was stupefied. It was an emperor who knew earth cosmic energy. The emperor using earth energy quickly glanced at Mu Yun and then left. Such great things were happening, and very quickly, the Celestial Qi Castle's strong cultivators would rush over soon. As expected, after he left, many strong cultivators appeared in Lin Feng's room to find him missing. The emperor in purple clothes looked furious. Lin Feng had been kidnapped in their own territory. Who had the balls to do that? Qi Yunxiao frowned and shouted, Qi Yuchen, come here. Qi Yunxing left. He didn't continue chasing the dream cultivator. Instead, he chased the earth Qi. He followed them outside but frowned because the Qi stopped there. At that moment, Emperor Yu and Lin Feng appeared in the distance. No matter what, he wanted to rescue Lin Feng. He didn't care whether Lin Feng was controlled or not, he'd figure out what to do afterwards. Emperor Yu had managed to rescue Lin Feng, however, he didn't understand why Lin Feng was still sleeping. Chapter 1548, Humiliation. Lin Feng, shouted Emperor Yu. However, Lin Feng didn't react. Emperor Yu frowned and shook Lin Feng, but it was useless. Emperor Yu was concerned now. Lin Feng was breathing normally, and he wasn't injured, but he was sleeping. What could be going on? Emperor Yu didn't know that a shadow was following him as he flew away. That shadow was completely invisible, and even though Emperor Yu was a strong emperor, he still couldn't sense that person's presence at all. It gradually became clear outside. Then the second-day battles continued. The battles were extremely intense as the cultivators were fighting even stronger than they had the first day. The emperor in purple clothes thought that Lin Feng's disappearance had something to do with Qi Yuchen. However, he couldn't accuse him right now. After all, Qi Yuchen had the blood of the Qi clan. He would just inform Master Mi of the situation. Lin Feng was still asleep, and Emperor Yu was really in a rush to find a healer. They were between the 9 great celestial castles. There had to be a solution, the Palace of Medicinal Kings. The battles of the second day ended and people left again. A silhouette came to the people of the Palace of Medicinal Kings carrying someone on his back. It was Lin Feng. "Master, I need to see the elders of the Palace of Medicinal Kings," said Emperor Yu. One of them frowned and said to Emperor Yu coldly, "Who are you? And what do you want from us?" "I need to see an elder to save someone," said Emperor Yu calmly. That young man looked at him in a cold way and said indifferently, "We don't heal strangers. Leave now." Emperor Yu didn't flinch, he continued walking towards them. The people from the Palace of Medicinal Kings looked at him in a cold way and said, "Piss off now. Didn't you hear?" Emperor Yu didn't stop, he continued moving forwards, even faster. After they watched him run ahead, ignoring their threat, those people started chasing him. Emperor Yu arrived outside of a door and released his godly awareness to inspect the area. He found a very strong cultivator inside. "Master, please help me save someone," said Emperor Yu bowing at the entrance of the room. He knew that it was impolite, but he had no choice. He would do anything to save Lin Feng. Someone opened the door. It was an old man with white beard. His eyes were twinkling with cold lights. "You're audacious," said the old man in a cold way, glancing at Emperor Yu and Lin Feng. Surprisingly, that person had dared inspect his room. "Kneel down." Emperor Yu pulled a long face but still knelt down. "Master, please forgive me, I really need you to heal someone." Emperor Yu took out a ring and gave it to the old man. The old man inspected the ring and said to Emperor Yu harshly, "You're insolent and impolite, I'll keep that ring to punish you. Piss off now." Emperor Yu suddenly raised his head and shouted, "Master. Piss off," shouted the old man, now releasing terrifyingly oppressive energies. "Goodbye." The ground shook under Emperor Yu's knees, exploding and throwing Emperor Yu and Lin Feng away. Emperor Yu was even further depressed. How could he solve Lin Feng's problem? If the cultivators at the Palace of Medicinal Kings wouldn't help, who would? Emperor Yu left. At that moment, the shadow continued following him and sighed, "He really attaches a lot of importance to that person. I wonder who he is to him." The shadow landed in front of Emperor Yu as though they were leaving. Emperor Yu suddenly saw a person in black clothes arrive in front of him. He was shocked because he hadn't sensed that person's presence before he approached. "Hand him over to me," said the person in black clothes to Emperor Yu indifferently. Would Emperor Yu do such a thing though? "There's a pill here, it can heal you," said the person in black clothes, giving Emperor Yu a pill. Emperor Yu was skeptical but accepted the pill. Without hesitating, he put it into his mouth. He knew that person was very strong, so if they wanted to kill him, they wouldn't have to resort to poison. Emperor Yu turned red after taking that pill and his body started changing. He was pleasantly surprised. "Now, hand him over," said that person who was now smiling at Emperor Yu. "I hope you can save him." Emperor Yu looked touched and didn't hesitate any longer. He quickly handed Lin Feng over to him. "Don't worry," said that person to Emperor Yu before he disappeared. Emperor Yu was dumbstruck. What could he do now? "I wonder who that person is," whispered Emperor Yu. In the following days, the battles continued at the main square. People were surprised because Emperor Xinyu hadn't appeared for a few days now. Somewhere inside the buffer zone, in a small room, Lin Feng opened his eyes and stood up. There was a person in black clothes standing in front of him. Emperor Xinyu. Lin Feng was incredulous. Why was he with Emperor Xinyu? "Look what happened these days," said Emperor Xinyu as he smiled at Lin Feng. He released his godly awareness and merged it into Lin Feng's third eye. Suddenly, Lin Feng saw everything that had happened. He examined the memories and saw that someone had plotted against him. Boom! Terrifying lights appeared in Lin Feng's eyes as well as qi. Someone had humiliated his teacher. That old man had made him kneel and had stolen a treasure from him before telling him to piss off. Lin Feng recalled his qi and bowed before Emperor Xinyu. "Thank you very much, Master, for having saved my teacher." Chapter 1549. On the battle stage, Lin Feng remembered back to when Emperor Ni Chen and Emperor Xinyu had shown up. Emperor Xinyu had looked at him particularly. The problem was that he didn't know Emperor Xinyu. Why had he paid him so much attention? He also knew everything that had happened to him so far, which meant he had been following him. Besides, Emperor Xinyu had given his teacher a pill, of which the price was probably terrifying. He even gave it to Emperor Yu without hesitation. Lin Feng was skeptical about it all. "The Celestial Qi Castle doesn't control you?" asked Emperor Xinyu. He was curious. Lin Feng remained silent for a few seconds, but he finally nodded. "Indeed, they didn't manage to control me." Not bad. "Master Mi didn't manage to control you, that's rare," said Emperor Xinyu, laughing before adding, "Things will be easier that way." "Lin Feng, you've been sleeping for a few days. The battles between the 9 great celestial castles are almost over. Let's go back and watch," said Emperor Xinyu positively. Lin Feng didn't understand. Emperor Xinyu had saved him and now he wanted him to go back. "Master, I'm now away from the Celestial Qi Castle. If I went back, wouldn't I have to give myself back to them?" "That seems very stupid," replied Lin Feng straightforwardly. Emperor Xinyu laughed and said, "It's normal that you want to leave, but don't you want to try and fight on the battle stage?" "Fight on the battle stage?" Lin Feng repeated back in shock. "We don't have much time, so let's go," said Emperor Xinyu smiling. Then, he took Lin Feng and left. It was nearing the end of the battles. The young people from Celestial Wen Castle were turning out to be the strongest ones. Wen Ao Feng was probably going to rank first. Apart from him, his 2 friends were also going to rank in the top 18. The Celestial Wen Castle was probably going to rule over the small worlds in the following 10,000 years. Apart from the Celestial Wen Castle, the Palace of Medicinal Kings also did well. Most of their cultivators were cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer. Therefore, the Palace of Medicinal Kings had 4 cultivators in the top 18 so far. Concerning the third group, it would probably be the Celestial Palace of Punishing Thunders or the Celestial Qi Castle. The remaining battles would determine that. On Celestial Qi Castle's side, a person walked to the bleachers. It was Lin Feng. The Emperor in purple clothes sensed something amiss and looked at Lin Feng. He was surprised, but it was a pleasant surprise. "Lin Feng, where did you go?" "Master, someone wanted to kill me. After that, someone attacked him. I was injured so I needed to hide and heal," replied Lin Feng. The Emperor in purple clothes nodded. He believed Lin Feng. He had sensed 2 Emperor's qi in Lin Feng's room that night. "Good to see you're all right," said the Emperor in purple clothes. Lin Feng was safe and sound, so he was obviously happy. He didn't think about it too much. After that, Lin Feng turned towards the battle stage. Initially, there were 81 battle stages, but now only 50 were left. Many people had died or were injured. Lin Feng saw that a cultivator from the Palace of Medicinal Kings was fighting. He had seen him before in Ba Huang, when he had provoked Zhou Tianruo. He was very strong. He had just defeated a cultivator from the ancient celestial castle. But because of what had happened to Emperor Yu, Lin Feng was looking at the people from the Palace of Medicinal Kings in a cold way, especially the old man in the middle of the crowd. That was the one he had seen in Emperor Shen Yu's memories, the one who had taken Emperor Yu's ring and told him to piss off. Lin Feng looked furious. That old man sensed that Lin Feng was glaring at him, so he turned his head. He was surprised. That young man was unconscious when he had seen him last time, and an emperor had asked him to heal him. Now, he was cured. Surprisingly, that someone was from the Celestial Qi Castle. Afterwards, Lin Feng looked back at the battle stages again. The strong cultivators from the Great World were extremely strong. Xia Tianfan had broken through to the 8th Zun Qi layer, while Qiao Qifeng and Zhou Tianruo had also become stronger since he had last seen them. Lin Feng looked at Wen Ao Feng again. He was fast and cruel, his attacks were explosive, causing his opponents to either die or leaving them heavily injured. Emperor Ni Chen, who was on the side of the Celestial Wen Castle, walked out and smiled, "Brother Shenyu, how come I didn't see you the last few days? I had some things to do. It was a crucial moment for me, luckily, I didn't miss it," said Emperor Shenyu, seemingly in a good mood. What was going on with him? Emperor Ni Chen hadn't seen him in such a good mood since they had arrived. "Brother Shenyu, what do you think of these young men? I want to take some to Qingdi Mountain." "Only 1 or 2 of them can go with you," said Emperor Ni Chen smiling. "There's no need, none of them can go to the Qingdi Mountain," said Emperor Shenyu indifferently. Then he continued watching the battles. After that battle, Ao Feng will become the champion, thought Emperor Ni Chen. The last battle was when Ao Feng against a strong cultivator from the Celestial Palace of Punishing Thunders. That strong cultivator hadn't won a single fight while Wen Ao Feng had won every one of his fights, so Wen Ao Feng was expected to win. When Ao Feng and that strong cultivator from the Celestial Palace of Punishing Thunders fought. Thunder and empty space energies collided, causing an explosion in the sky. Abstruse energies assaulted the battle stage, making it shake violently. Abstruse energies of the highest levels, the crowd was incredulous. When Ao Feng's force was multiplied by 700 and his abstruse energies were at the highest level. It wouldn't be long before he become an emperor. Finally, when Ao Feng won the battle. He was the champion. Not bad. Emperor Ni Chen stood up and smiled. He was proud. Although he hadn't taught Wen Ao Feng for that long, he was still proud of his disciple. Not one of the disciples from the 9 great celestial castles could compete with him anymore. The cultivators of the Celestial Wen Castle also stood up and applauded him. Emperor Ni Chen was satisfied, and Celestial Wen Castle was as well. "Alright, we can start the rankings," said Emperor Ni Chen. At that moment, the referees started counting the points. When Ao Feng ranked first, the second one was from the Palace of Medicinal Kings, he was a humble young man. The third one was one of the cultivators who had lost against Wen Ao Feng, the fourth one was Gu Li, the fifth one Qiyu Chen, the sixth one was someone from the Celestial Wen Castle, then Qiao Qifeng, Zhou Tianruo and Xia Tianfan. "Not bad, amongst you 18 geniuses, does anyone want to join Qingdi Mountain?" asked Emperor Ni Chen joyfully. Many of them looked extremely happy. Emperor Ni Chen was inviting them personally. Apart from Wen Ao Feng, the others weren't already members of Qingdi Mountain. "I do, Master," said many of them, bowing before Emperor Ni Chen. How could they miss such an opportunity? "Wait," said someone at that moment. The crowd turned around and saw Lin Feng walking towards the battle stage. Lin Feng, shouted the emperor in purple clothes. Was Lin Feng insane? Was he going to cause trouble again? Had he forgotten that he couldn't show how strong he was? Lin Feng, come back here, shouted the emperor in purple clothes furiously. He slowly turned around and smiled, Master, Qiuchen got to represent us on the battle stage, so why can't I? Chapter 1550, Zhou Tianruo humiliated 3 times over. When the emperor in purple clothes saw Lin Feng smile, he was surprised. Qiuchen looked at Lin Feng in an ice-cold way. How dare Lin Feng enter the battle stage? Qiuchen wasn't the only one who was surprised. Xiao Qifeng, Zhou Tianruo, Xia Tianfan and the others were all staring at him. They had seen how aggressive Lin Feng was in Ba Huang. However, now that Lin Feng was controlled by Master Mi, he still seemed to show this arrogance. Lin Feng glanced at the crowd and smiled indifferently. Emperor Xinyu had told him that it'd be a pity if he didn't participate. Lin Feng initially intended to hide in the celestial Qi castle and become stronger, but Emperor Xinyu, who came with Emperor Ni Chen, had told him not to worry. However, Lin Feng still didn't know who Emperor Xinyu was. Even then, his social status couldn't be lower than Emperor Ni Chen's. Lin Feng, get down, said the emperor in purple clothes at that moment. Lin Feng had gone too far. Master, don't be angry. I'm furious that the cultivators from Celestial Qi Castle, who represented us, are such trash. They humiliated us, said Lin Feng to the emperor in purple clothes, smiling indifferently. He looked absolutely confident and arrogant. The emperor in purple clothes looked even more upset. Qi Yunsheng and the others were also upset. They knew about the rules governing cultivators who were controlled by them. How come Lin Feng was violating those rules? Was Master Mi's spell must not have been strong enough? Lin Feng looked at Emperor Ni Chen. Master, can you give me a few minutes to prove myself? Asked Lin Feng straightforwardly. The crowd looked at Emperor Ni Chen. He was smart, everybody knew that Emperor Ni Chen couldn't refuse such a request. No problem, said Emperor Ni Chen smiling. As the crowd had thought, he couldn't refuse. Besides, there was no reason for him to refuse either. When the members of the Celestial Qi Castle heard that, they all looked depressed, especially the emperor in purple clothes. He had lost face and now Qingdi Mountain might notice how strong Lin Feng was. Thank you very much, Master, said Lin Feng bowing respectfully and smiling in a resplendent way. Lin Feng looked at the crowd before he turned his attention to the people from the great celestial palace of thoughtfulness. Zhou Tianruo, said Lin Feng smiling mockingly. Revenge was a dish best served cold, thought Lin Feng. Is the great celestial palace of thoughtfulness so weak? Didn't you have stronger cultivators to send? That guy is just a piece of trash, said Lin Feng indifferently. It was the cultivators from the great celestial palace of thoughtfulness turned to be upset. When Zhou Tianshao saw that Lin Feng was walking towards him, so he instantly became fearful. He had been humiliated by Lin Feng twice already. You have 2 options now. You either go back to the bleachers or I'll kick you so hard that you'll fly back to those bleachers, said Lin Feng. When the crowd thought that Zhou Tianruo was going to attack Lin Feng with his golden holy qi, but instead he remained calm while clenching his fists. His facial muscles twitched, and he looked furious, but he remained motionless. Why are you not stepping forward? Asked Lin Feng mockingly. Finally, Zhou Tianruo released his dazzling golden holy qi, and an armor of golden holy qi surrounded his body. Even if Zhou Tianruo feared Lin Feng, he still had to fight. Lin Feng suddenly jumped ahead and condensed both empty space and wind abstruse energies. He didn't use any skills or technique, it was just a simple punch. Zhou Tianruo, shouted Lin Feng. Zhou Tianruo looked into Lin Feng's demonic eyes, and cursing energies surrounded him, causing his life energies to be slowly drained. His godly awareness shook violently and so did his gold holy chi. Kaboom! Lin Feng finished condensing his energies and a gigantic pitch-black sword appeared. Next, he condensed earth and demonic abstruse energies into the sword. His force was also multiplied by 700. His gigantic sword started suffocating Zhou Tianruo. Zhou Tianruo sensed the cursing and death energies overwhelm him, making him look desperate. He was covered in a cold sweat, but he continued releasing golden holy chi towards Lin Feng. A sound rang as their energies met, followed by Zhou Tianruo falling to his knees and coughing up blood. "You're still so weak," said Lin Feng, kicking Zhou Tianshao towards the great celestial palace of thoughtfulness bleachers. Zhou Tianshao jumped forwards and caught Zhou Tianruo. Then he released ice-cold energies towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng looked at Zhou Tianshao and said calmly, "Back then, I humiliated Zhou Tianruo, and even though you're an emperor, you still attacked me. If I don't deserve to be called a cultivator, then I ask who in the great celestial palace of thoughtfulness deserves to be called one?" Strength was the most important thing in the world of cultivation. Zhou Tianshao was an emperor, so of course he was stronger than Lin Feng. Chapter 1551, aggressive. When Zhou Tianshao heard Lin Feng, but he remained silent. Emperor Ni Chen was there, so he couldn't act recklessly. But someday, he'd definitely kill Lin Feng. Zhou Tianruo had already been humiliated 3 times by Lin Feng, twice in the small world and once in the great world, in front of all the members of the great celestial palace of thoughtfulness, the members from the other celestial castles, and the members from Qingdi Mountain. Because of Lin Feng, Zhou Tianruo would never have the opportunity to join the Qingdi Mountain again. Plus, Lin Feng had injured him. In other words, he had destroyed his will from that moment on. Zhou Tianruo would hardly ever be happy again. Apart from Zhou Tianshao and Zhou Tianruo, nobody from Celestial Qi Castle was happy to see Lin Feng acting this way. The emperor in purple clothes was glaring at Lin Feng with murder in his eyes. Lin Feng had already gotten out of control, but he didn't understand why. Had something happened to him while he was away? However, even if Lin Feng had broken free from Master Mi's control, he still came back. Was he trying to draw Qingdi Mountain's attention? Was he putting his life at stake to impress them? Emperor Ni Chen laughed after he saw that Lin Feng had easily defeated Zhou Tianruo. Then he asked, "Brother Xinyu, what do you think of that boy?" "Outstanding," replied Emperor Xinyu smiling. He didn't even need to see how strong Lin Feng was. Because of that boy, his teacher, an emperor, had knelt before the people from the palace of medicinal kings and begged them to save his life. Could he be a bad cultivator given such devotion? Emperor Ni Chen looked at Emperor Xinyu in a strange way. That guy had just said, "Outstanding." Lin Feng was talented and not weak, but he hadn't shown how strong he really was. Why had Emperor Xinyu said that? Emperor Ni Chen didn't know that Emperor Xinyu knew more about Lin Feng already. There are so many outstanding disciples in the 9 castles and yet, you don't think highly of any of them. Now you're attaching such importance to a disciple from Celestial Qi Castle's small world, asked Emperor Ni Chen. Amongst those who come from the small worlds, some of them are incredible and will amaze the great world, said Emperor Xinyu smiling. Emperor Ni Chen was surprised and then laughed again. Such people are very rare, said Emperor Ni Chen. Then, he looked at the battle stage again. Lin Feng looked at the other strong cultivators, Xiao Qi Feng in particular. Then, he said, "I've already defeated that one. Those people from Celestial Qi Castle really can't represent Celestial Qi Castle." Xiao Qi Feng was furious. Although Lin Feng had defeated him before, he was ready to get his revenge now. However, Lin Feng didn't want to fight against him. He looked at the other cultivators, in particular the other cultivators from Celestial Qi Castle. Only 2 people had ranked in the top 18 amongst those young people from Celestial Qi Castle. Qi Yuchen had ranked 5th and another one had ranked 13th. In the end, the Celestial Qi Castle had lost to the Celestial Palace of Punishing Thunders, thus losing their control over the small world from which Lin Feng was. Master, your eyes are really bad. There are so many strong cultivators in Celestial Qi Castle and surprisingly you only sent people who would make Celestial Qi Castle lose face, said Lin Feng to the Emperor in purple clothes while smiling. The Emperor in purple clothes was furious. By saying that, he was finally proving that he wasn't being controlled anymore. Master Ni Chen, my disciple is having some issues. He's disrespecting you, so I'm sorry about that. I'll stop him and punish him later for this, said the Emperor in purple clothes to Emperor Ni Chen. He had to remove Lin Feng from the battle stage before Qingdi Mountain attached any more importance to him. Emperor Ni Chen was surprised, but Emperor Xinyu smiled and said in a low voice, Brother Ni Chen, I want to continue watching him. Alright, said Emperor Ni Chen. He looked at the Emperor in purple clothes and said, no problem, stop interfering for now. The Emperor in purple clothes was surprised. Nobody could contradict Emperor Ni Chen. Even the leaders from the 9 great celestial castles couldn't. By saying that, Emperor Ni Chen was saying that nobody could disturb Lin Feng as he continued to start fights. Lin Feng smiled. Emperor Xinyu had taken him back so of course he had to make use of this opportunity. Master, I was just trying to regain your prestige, yet you're saying that I am disrespecting these incredible people. I will show you just how bad your eyes are, said Lin Feng to the Emperor in purple clothes. He looked at Qi Yuchen and the other one and said, you two, come fight me together. Qi Yuchen looked furious as he immediately released Qi. Last time, Lin Feng had suddenly attacked him with death Qi and force, but Qi Yuchen thought that in a fair fight that he was stronger than Lin Feng. Energies rushed out and surrounded Qi Yuchen. In a flash, Qi Yuchen was surrounded by a golden picture spirit. Boom! Qi Yuchen jumped forwards and threw himself at Lin Feng. He had ranked 5th, so he was feeling confident in himself. Demonic Qi rolled in waves as Lin Feng released his demonic territory. The aggressive energies blocked his territory's strength. Qi Yuchen continued running forwards and pushed the demonic territory back. Lin Feng's skills were stronger than Qi Yuchen's skills, but Lin Feng's cultivation level was too low. Qi Yuchen was a cultivator of the 9th Zun Qi layer, which was a large difference. A demon appeared behind Lin Feng's back who looked very aggressive. With its appearance, Lin Feng's territory suddenly became stronger, so much so that the empty spaces couldn't oppress Lin Feng's strength anymore. After that, a gigantic golden axe appeared in Lin Feng's hand. It was Xian Yuan's spirit. Lin Feng looked aggressive and brutal as he held it over his shoulder. 7th Zun Qi layer and his Qi is already so powerful, thought the crowd, shivering. Qi Yuchen shook his hands and terrifying empty space lights shot out towards Lin Feng. Dong! Lin Feng jumped forwards as he released force which was multiplied by 600, surrounding the sharp empty space energies like a cage. Qi Yuchen also released force multiplied by 600, breaking the cage. 700. Lin Feng jumped forwards and released force multiplied by 700 this time. Qi Yuchen's heart was pounding as he noticed that Lin Feng's force was increasing. Dong! The ground shook and his golden energies exploded. This time, it was multiplied by 800. Chapter 1552, shouting furiously, 7th Zun Qi layer and his force is multiplied by 800, the crowd was awestruck. As a cultivator's force increased, their ability to control the earth and sky increased. That young man had only broken through to the 7th Zun Qi layer, but his force was already multiplied by 800. If he broke through to the 9th Zun Qi layer and had a force multiplied by 1,000, he'd be half an emperor already. Possess a force of 1,000 required talent. Lin Feng secretly thanked the emperor who had made him dream those previous days. Lin Feng's force had improved a lot in that dream. The sky shook as Lin Feng released his aggressive demonic and immortal energies. Apart from his insane-looking demon, another shadow appeared behind Lin Feng which looked like an immortal demon. The immortal and demonic energies prevented the empty space energies from moving forwards. As his territory weakened, Lin Feng's demonic territory condensed the empty space energies. Lin Feng stretched out his hand and released demonic energies which turned into a gigantic, pitch-black axe. That axe contained earth, death, and immortal energies. Arg! The demon shouted as Lin Feng raised his gigantic axe which then descended from the sky. The axe cut apart everything in its path, including Qi Yuchen's golden lights. Qi Yuchen joined his hands together and condensed a sword made of empty space energy. Boom! The axe collided with the sword, causing lights to disperse in every direction. Qi Yuchen's clothes were suddenly torn apart, but Lin Feng's clothes weren't looking much better. Qi Yuchen held his composure for a moment, but then he shook violently and coughed blood. Lin Feng had taken their previous exchange better, so he ran towards Qi Yuchen while condensing force which was multiplied by 800. Slash! Blood splashed out of Qi Yuchen's mouth. He had lost a lot of strength, but he didn't feel like giving up just yet. Lin Feng jumped forwards and released more demonic qi, which turned into a gigantic hand. He grabbed Qi Yuchen by his throat, draining the blood from his face. He condensed as much strength as he could but it seemed useless. Many people from Celestial Qi Castle suddenly stood up and looked at Lin Feng in a threatening way. However, Lin Feng looked at Qi Yuchen mockingly and said, "Will you have Yun come here? She's in the Celestial Qi Castle, don't even think about seeing her again," said Qi Yuchen. Boom! Lin Feng released demonic and fire qi which started burning Qi Yuchen's hand and flew throughout his arm. He couldn't release any energy to defend himself against those energies, so all he could do was scream in pain. "Bring Yun here." This time, Lin Feng wasn't talking to Qi Yuchen, he was demanding the people from Celestial Qi Castle to bring her to him. The face of the emperor in purple clothes turned deathly pale. Lin Feng wasn't being controlled anymore, and now he was starting to exact his revenge. Qi Yuchen's body was covered in sweat, and his face was deathly pale. Lin Feng was cruel, on top of that, he was mocking him in front of everybody. Lin Feng had already crushed his arm. "I'm going to go get her now," said the emperor in purple clothes as he disappeared. With his speed, he should come back quickly. "You better hurry up," said Lin Feng to the emperor in purple clothes. Then, Lin Feng put Qi Yuchen in an empty space cage and turned around. First Zhou Tian Roa, and now Qi Yuchen were in a cage. "Emperor Ni Chen," shouted Qi Yunsheng, standing up. "Sit down," yelled Lin Feng suddenly. Qi Yunsheng frowned, nobody had ever shouted at him like that. The crowd also shivered from Lin Feng's shout. Qi Yunsheng was an emperor and he was one of Qingdi Mountain's cultivators. And yet, Lin Feng still dared shout at him furiously. Lin Feng didn't care about those things because those people from the Celestial Qi Castle were his enemies. He didn't need to be polite with Qi Yunsheng any longer. "If you don't want him to die in front of you, you better stay quiet," yelled Lin Feng at Qi Yunsheng. Qi Yunsheng was fixedly staring at Lin Feng's pitch-black eyes, but it had no impact on him. After a few moments of glaring at each other, he finally sat down. He wanted to do something, but Qi Yunsheng was already severely injured. As long as he didn't die, he'd have a chance to recover in the future. After all, Lin Feng wasn't an emperor, and Qi Yuchen's injuries weren't that severe. After Qi Yunsheng sat down, Lin Feng smiled coldly and glanced at Qi Yunshao. "I told you that you had bad eyes. Qi Yuchen is so weak, can't you see what a disgrace he is? If you had let me fight, you wouldn't have lost so much face," said Lin Feng mockingly. Then, he looked at Yuan Fei, Ban Ruo, and Li Hen. They were his friends, but at that moment, they were looking at him in a cold way. "You will regret that very quickly," thought Qi Yunsheng. Did Lin Feng place all his hopes on Qingdi Mountain? Did he think that because he was a bit talented, Emperor Ni Chen would recruit him? Lin Feng was a bit too naive. Chapter 1553, Give It Back. The emperor in purple clothes quickly came back with Mu Yun. They landed on the edge of the bleachers. Mu Yun figured out what was going on after she noticed that Lin Feng had imprisoned Qi Yuchen on the stage. "Yun, go to the Celestial Wen Castle's bleachers, Master will take care of you," said Lin Feng to Mu Yun. Everybody thought that Lin Feng was talking about Emperor Ni Chen. Of course, with him there, nobody would dare harm her. "All right," said Mu Yun without asking anything. She immediately went to the bleachers of the Celestial Wen Castle and calmly observed what was going on. "Piss off." Lin Feng smacked Qi Yuchen and sent him flying back to Celestial Qi Castle's bleachers. The emperor in purple clothes caught Qi Yuchen with some relief. It would have been difficult to explain why a strong and talented young man from the Celestial Qi clan had been killed by Lin Feng. After all, Lin Feng had broken free from Master Mi's control. Even then, it was still Qi Yuchen's fault, because he had sent someone to kill him. This all happened. But what happened to Lin Feng after he was taken from Celestial Qi Castle? Lin Feng glanced around, silencing the crowd out of fear. This time, Lin Feng looked at the young cultivators from the Palace of Medicinal Kings. Then they frowned, wondering why he was acting so aggressive towards them. However, they quickly realized that he wasn't looking at them. He was actually looking at an old man in their bleachers, a medium-level emperor. The old man's hair was fluttering in the wind as he glanced at Lin Feng indifferently. Lin Feng pointed at him and said, "Take the item out." Everybody was astonished. What was he talking about? Lin Feng wanted the ring that Emperor Yu had offered him. The old man looked at Lin Feng indifferently. Surprisingly, Lin Feng, a cultivator of the 7th Zun Qi layer, dared ask for the ring back. Lin Feng was too brave. But could a medium-level emperor take out a ring because a Zun cultivator was asking him to? It didn't matter whether the ring was precious or not, it was all about face. What would people think if he did what Lin Feng was demanding of him? "Take back what you said," said the old man calmly. Lin Feng's demonic qi was still rolling in waves. He walked towards the 18 strong cultivators while threatening some of them with his energies. Amongst the strong young cultivators from the Palace of Medicinal Kings, 4 of them had ranked in the top 18, but they still didn't have the most points. Having said that, amongst the 4 strong cultivators from the Palace of Medicinal Kings, 1 of them ranked second. Meaning he had only lost once to Wen Ao Feng. Yi Sheng was the one who had ranked second. Lin Feng walked towards them while he released a force which was multiplied by 800. Yi Sheng didn't back down though, he walked towards Lin Feng with a force which was multiplied by 700. The crowd noticed Yi Sheng's eyes gradually become green and bestial. Yi Sheng is extremely strong, even when Ao Feng needed to use a lot of strength to defeat him. Even though Lin Feng is strong, he still can't defeat Yi Sheng. If Lin Feng attacks Yi Sheng, he'll die, thought the crowd. Yi Sheng was the one who had complimented Jun Mo Shi in the small world. Green lights shined bright and began attacking Lin Feng's godly awareness. Lin Feng's eyes became even darker as terrifying amounts of demonic and cursing strength collided with the green lights. What strong demonic intent! Even my eye's energies can't destroy it, thought Yi Sheng. Vines slowly surrounded his body as he turned into a tree with eyes glaring out from its trunk. Vines moved in all directions, including Lin Feng's direction. Lin Feng released a deadly demon punch which he had condensed force into. The vines broke apart, but some seeds jumped towards Lin Feng. "Wind," said Yi Sheng. Those seeds moved along with the wind towards Lin Feng, moving even faster than before. "Fire." Lin Feng released demon fire. The seeds reached him, trying to invade his body and explode out. However, Lin Feng's demon fire was also extremely aggressive. Many of the seeds burnt and turned to ashes. Demon fire, Lin Feng already knows several types of abstruse energies, thought the crowd. Empty space, demon, fire, cursing, death, immortal. I need to finish this fight quickly, thought Lin Feng. Yisheng was dangerous, and after contending against those seeds, Lin Feng would not underestimate him. Chapter 1554, Refusal. Lin Feng released empty space and wind energies, which surrounded his body. At the same time, silver wings appeared from his back. Bzzz. Lin Feng jumped forwards with incredible speed. Slash, a light streaked across the sky. Yisheng released a Vine King, and a robust branch moved to defend against Lin Feng's sword. The sky shook as they clashed, but the vines exploded afterwards. Yisheng released more wind abstruse energies to try and match Lin Feng's speed. His wind abstruse energies were level 9, but Lin Feng used several types of abstruse energies, so they were practically even. Apart from speed, Lin Feng's sword technique was also terrifyingly strong. Another sword streaked across the sky. Lin Feng used Wind Thunder Laceration, Desolate Ksana, and Nirvana Sunya Destruction sword attacks. The vines kept breaking apart from his constant assault, forcing Yisheng into a bad spot. Dazzling silver lights filled the sky as countless swords condensed to form a web. Yisheng didn't dare take that move head-on, so he started to retreat. Yisheng continued moving backwards until he reached the stairs which connected his group's bleachers to the battle stage. The 3 others from his group were there too. Yisheng suddenly stopped retreating and released even more vine energies. Lin Feng was too fast as he made a final push forward. The source of the 9 netherworlds appeared in Lin Feng's eyes, and he started chanting the 9 netherworld song as he closed in. Boom boom, the vine spirit broke. Yisheng had just missed his chance to kill Lin Feng. Now Lin Feng was attacking his soul, causing some blood to drip from his eyes. Be careful, shouted someone to Yisheng. Yisheng sensed the terrifying sword energies descending from the sky, so he enveloped himself in a cocoon of vines. Then he turned into a trunk just as the sword crashed onto him. Even against all these preparations, he was still sent flying. A large hole had appeared in the trunk, and Lin Feng's sword was stuck inside. Yisheng was propelled away and crashed against the wall of the bleachers behind his 3 fellow disciples. Lin Feng didn't stop, he continued moving forwards, his feet propelled using a force which had been multiplied by 800. Boom, the 3 other cultivators from the Palace of Medicinal Kings released force. They were getting ready to fight, especially the strongest one. Retreat, shouted the old man to the cultivators. A strong emperor from the Palace of Medicinal Kings was asking his disciples to run away. He must have known how strong Lin Feng was now, and he didn't want to lose any of his disciples. Let's go, said the strong cultivator in the middle as he threw out a punch. Lin Feng's sword didn't kill anyone, instead it crashed onto the battle stage, creating a gigantic fissure. Lin Feng didn't want to go too far, for there was a limit to how far Emperor Shu could protect him. So, he didn't chase them any further. Everybody was looking at the 2. Just what did Lin Feng want from the old man? Lin Feng looked at the old man and declared, someday, I'll come to the Palace of Medicinal Kings and I'll make you regret all of this. How could he act so arrogantly before the Palace of Medicinal Kings' people? Let's wait and see if you're still alive at that time, said the old man calmly. He didn't really care about younger people. Lin Feng gave him one last glare before he turned around and looked at Emperor Ni-Chen. Master, how strong am I compared to them? Asked Lin Feng calmly. He didn't look arrogant and proud anymore, but he did sound confident. The crowd figured that Lin Feng was just trying to be accepted by Qingdi Mountain, but Lin Feng didn't care about that. He was convinced that Emperor Xinyu had other plans for him. Lin Feng wouldn't refuse if Emperor Xinyu wanted to take him anywhere. Actually, Lin Feng was asking Emperor Ni-Chen that question because of Yuan Fei and the others. The Qingdi Mountain was the ruler of the region. Emperor Ni Qin could change Yuan Fei and the others' fates. Everybody looked at Emperor Ni Qin. Ni Qin looked at Lin Feng and smiled in a gentle way. You're quite talented, but you're young and arrogant. Gotcha. On the side of Celestial Qi Castle, Qi Yunxing clenched his fists and smiled coldly. Just like he had thought, Qingdi Mountain had refused Lin Feng. The old bearded man of the Palace of Medicinal Kings laughed, thinking, Lin Feng is doomed. Lin Feng is doomed, isn't he? Thought many people. Yun's face turned deathly pale, worried that they would reject Lin Feng, and thus her. He. At that moment, a person in black clothes smiled thinly and stood up. Then he said indifferently, Are you blind? If you don't want him, I do. Chapter 1555, Leaving the crowd was astonished. Who was that arrogant? Who dared say that? They turned around and were shocked. It's him, it's Emperor Xinyu, thought the crowd. Qingdi Mountain, blind? Who's Emperor Xinyu, thought many people. Emperor Ni Qin was a high-level emperor with a high social status. He had refused Lin Feng and against all expectations, Emperor Xinyu had intervened. Without a doubt, Emperor Xinyu wasn't a member of Qingdi Mountain, otherwise, he wouldn't have asked Emperor Ni Qin if he was blind. I've never heard of Emperor Xinyu. He's not from Qingdi Mountain, and he's not a strong cultivator from the 9 castles either, but he is standing next to Emperor Ni Qin. Who could he be? Emperor Ni Qin was surprised when he heard Emperor Xinyu, but then he smiled and said, You really think highly of that boy? He proved how strong he is. You rejected him, but I can't miss this opportunity. I'm taking him away, said Emperor Xinyu. Ni Qin looked at him in a deep and meaningful way, as if he had sensed that something was amiss. Emperor Xinyu and he weren't very close, they were emperors from 2 different groups, however, he had encountered Emperor Xinyu on the way and had invited him to come with him. On the way, Emperor Xinyu had remained cold and silent, that is until today where he had started smiling more and more. Besides, he had disappeared the past few days. He glanced at Lin Feng and suddenly, he had the impression that Emperor Xinyu had come for him. There are many outstanding disciples in the 9 great celestial castles, but you thought highly of none of them, said Emperor Ni Qin smiling indifferently. He was trying to make sense of it all. I like talented and outstanding young people, said Xinyu indifferently. It was like a normal dialogue, but the crowd had the sensation that it was a kind of implicit conflict. Brother Yushen, do you think he's more talented than all the others? Asked Emperor Ni Qin. Of course, said Emperor Xinyu. Since it's that way, after you leave, I will bring those people back to the Qingdi Mountain and on some other day, we'll compare their strength again. Then we'll see who was right, said Emperor Ni Qin calmly and serenely. I already know the outcome, but if you insist, I don't mind. Some other day, we can have a small competition, said Emperor Xinyu smiling indifferently. He looked enigmatic and unfathomable. Nobody knew what he was thinking. Master, Lin Feng violated the rules of my castle, and he caused us many troubles, said Qi Yunxing standing up and looking at Emperor Xinyu in a cold way. Emperor Xinyu turned around and looked at Qi Yunxing calmly and indifferently. Tell the leader of your castle to come and talk to me. Qi Yunxing was petrified and felt humiliated. He regretted talking just now. Lin Feng, are you done here? Asked Emperor Xinyu. Lin Feng wasn't done. Yuan Fei and the others were still there in Master Mi's control, but he couldn't say it. Emperor Xinyu was taking him away, that was already a big deal. Besides, he had offended many people already. Emperor Ni Qin, the Celestial Qi Castle, the Palace of Medicinal Kings and so on. Now, everybody would push their hatred from him to Emperor Xinyu. If he asked Emperor Xinyu to ask for his friends, the situation might become chaotic. He had to rely on his own abilities to solve the issue. Lin Feng looked at the members of the Celestial Qi Castle and the Palace of Medicinal Kings in a cold way, thinking that someday, they'd meet again. Lin Feng went to Emperor Shenyu and said, "Master, I'm taking Mu Yun as well." Mu Yun wasn't strong, so if Lin Feng left, she'd be in danger. "You can do whatever you want, that has nothing to do with me," said Emperor Shenyu smiling. Mu Yun was smiling in a resplendent way as well. Finally, she was going to have the life of a normal person. She had never thought that hosting Emperor Yu and Lin Feng would change her life. "Let's go," said Emperor Shenyu. He had only come to the 9 great celestial castles to take Lin Feng away, and now that he had accomplished that, there was no point in staying. The 3 people left. Lin Feng looked at the ground from the sky, looking at all his friends. His teacher was healed now, so Lin Feng would come back someday and save them. "They're gone," thought the crowd. That mysterious emperor had taken him away. Emperor Ni Chen watched as he left and said, "Amongst the 20 best cultivators today, if you want to join Qingdi Mountain, you're welcome to." Chapter 1556, Yaoyi Island. The competition between Emperor Ni Chen and Emperor Shenyu's disciples wouldn't happen any time soon, but the controllers of the small world were already determined: the Celestial Palace of the Punishing Thunders, the Celestial One Castle and the Palace of Medicinal Kings. They would control the small worlds for the next 10,000 years. However, the Celestial One Castle had the dominant power. The Wen clan in Ba Huang would start rising. The Palace of Medicinal Kings would also do incredible things in Ba Huang and Jiu Yu in the next 10,000 years, just like the Celestial Qi Castle had. The Celestial Palace of the Punishing Thunders had ranked 3rd, so they would probably be in charge of protecting the passage from the Great World to the Small World. However, the Celestial Wen Castle and the Palace of Medicinal Kings didn't know that the Celestial Qi Castle began panicking everyone in the small worlds when they began to feel that they would lose control over the small world. Many people who had always dreamt of coming to the Great World were planning on leaving or had already come out. Concerning the 9 great celestial castles, Lin Feng had nothing to do with them for the time being. He had left with Emperor Shenyu already and they were traveling at breakneck speeds. At that moment, under Lin Feng's feet, there was just a vast ocean with many islands. Emperor Shenyu slowed down, so that they could clearly see below them. Some islands looked desolate and gloomy, while others were vast and populated. The largely populated islands didn't look like islands, instead they looked like gigantic cities resting on the sea. "We're now in a territory that is out of the Qingdi Mountains' jurisdiction, but we're not too far off. Of course, distance is relative for cultivators. For extremely strong cultivators, the world is small," said Emperor Shenyu. Lin Feng nodded, and Mu Yun listened carefully. It was the first time that she had traveled so far. For Lin Feng and Mu Yun, the distance between them and Celestial Qi Castle was extremely far now. "We're here," said Shenyu. Below them was a gigantic area filled with a terrifying bestial qi. They couldn't see any human silhouettes though. "That island is bigger than a city, but there aren't many people," thought Mu Yun. Emperor Shenyu took Lin Feng and Mu Yun to the top of a mountain. "Master Shenyu, where are we?" asked Lin Feng curiously. "Yaoyi Island," replied Emperor Shenyu. "Lin Feng, show me all of your abstruse energies, you seem to know several sorts." "All right." Lin Feng nodded. Emperor Shenyu had helped him and Emperor Yu before, so he had no reason to hide anything from Emperor Shenyu. Lin Feng released demon abstruse energies, and a black cloud appeared above him. His first abstruse energy, demon type, was level 8. Then, he released death abstruse energy, level 8. Then empty space abstruse energy, wind, cursing, earth and fire. Lin Feng had used those before, but Emperor Shenyu was amazed that all of them were level 8. Mu Yun's mouth was wide open, dumbstruck. Those were Lin Feng's abstruse energies. Lin Feng wasn't done. Thunder abstruse energy descended from the sky, making it 8 types. Then, Lin Feng also released immortal abstruse energy. 9. Emperor Shenyu was astonished. Mu Yun gasped with amazement. 9 types of abstruse energies. Then, Lin Feng also released desolate abstruse energy, making it 10. 10 sorts of abstruse energies. Emperor Xinyu was smiling. Lin Feng probably possessed a body which allowed him to understand those 10 different sorts of abstruse energies, which also meant that he would be able to learn up to 3 different types of cosmic energies. "I'm not done," said Lin Feng. He then released life abstruse energy. Emperor Xinyu's heart was pounding. "That's enough. No need to show me more," said Emperor Xinyu. He was very surprised. He knew that Lin Feng knew several types of abstruse energies, but he wouldn't have thought he'd know that many. Emperor Xinyu was very happy. He was certain his heart could take the shock if Lin Feng showed him any more. Mu Yun was smiling. She wasn't as astonished as Emperor Xinyu because she understood cultivation less. She just understood that Lin Feng was very talented, and she was happy for him. "Lin Feng, I will give you some time to become stronger. Increase the level of your abstruse energies. Also, your force is already multiplied by 800, it'll also need to be multiplied by 1000. In this world where there are many strong cultivators, you're still considered weak. You need become an emperor as soon as possible," said Emperor Xinyu. "All right." Lin Feng nodded. He knew that he was a bit weak in the great world, but Lin Feng hadn't seen much yet. But it was too early to think about those things. He first had to deal with the Celestial Qi Castle and the Palace of Medicinal Kings. "What powers do you use?" asked Emperor Xinyu to Mu Yun. Mu Yun released some celestial qi. Emperor Xinyu nodded and said, "I will help you find a teacher in Yaoyi Island." "Thank you, master," said Mu Yun bowing. She was touched. Bzzz. At that moment, a red light appeared to be moving towards Mu Yun. Emperor Xinyu was surprised, grabbed her, and made her move away. However, the red light grabbed Lin Feng instead. "Stop!" shouted Emperor Xinyu. He turned into a black beam of light and chased the previous light. Slash! As he grabbed the red light, he tore a piece of robe off. The person suddenly stopped and smiled at Emperor Xinyu. "You're so serious." Chapter 1557, Many Changes, "Let him go," demanded Emperor Xinyu. That woman looked at Lin Feng and caressed his cheeks. Lin Feng thought she smelt good. Then she smiled and said, "Little boy, you're so handsome, you should stay with me. If you do, I'll show you the pleasures of life." Lin Feng rolled his eyes. What was this place? That woman was terrifyingly strong, but how could he refuse having sex with an astonishingly beautiful woman? He was speechless. Her third eye was red, which was a cute touch. "I don't deserve you, master," said Lin Feng smiling wryly. That woman was, without a doubt, extremely strong. She looked so young, but many strong cultivators looked young. "Do you think I'm old?" "Just consider me as your older sister," said the woman giggling, still ignoring Emperor Xinyu. Lin Feng was speechless and looked at Emperor Xinyu for help. Emperor Xinyu said, "If you don't let him off, don't blame me for being impolite. You have a bad temper, I don't feel like playing with you anymore," said the woman before she disappeared. "Her name is Hu Yu and call her sister if you see her again." "She doesn't like being called master," said Xinyu. Lin Feng was still speechless but nodded. "Let's go." "I'm taking you somewhere else," said Xinyu. After a short time, they arrived in the sky above the mountain range. "That guy is sleeping," whispered Xinyu. Lin Feng and Mu Yun gazed into the distance and saw a strange mountain with hands and feet. It looked like a human, or maybe an ape. Wake up," shouted Xinyu furiously. His voice made many stones explode. Kacha. A loud sound reverberated, causing Lin Feng's head to shake. That gigantic ape was a few hundreds of meters tall and he started moving after Xinyu yelled. The ape's eyes were the size of Lin Feng's upper body, causing him to feel oppressed. The gigantic ape took a step forward. Although they were at the top of a mountain and the ape was standing at the foot of the mountain, his head was eye level with Lin Feng and the others. Lin Feng raised his head and looked at that gigantic hand, but Emperor Shenyu pulled him away. The earth and sky shook, and then the mountain they were standing on exploded. How strong, Lin Feng couldn't believe his eyes. If Yuan Fei had been there, he would have been so happy to see this monstrous ape. "You woke me up again, moron," said a voice furiously. "You moron," yelled the beast again. Arg! It was overwhelming. Lin Feng had the sensation that his soul was going to leave his body. Their voices carried soundwave strength. The ape moved his gigantic hand towards the sky, as if he was trying to capture the sky. But he didn't reach anything. Lin Feng just saw a light. The other beast was 100 meters long, but Lin Feng couldn't see anything when it moved. The ape simply continued yelling, "Moron." The ape looked furious but knew that his opponent was too fast. "Apart from escaping, what else can you do?" said the ape aggressively. "Stop it now," said Emperor Shenyu to the two beasts. "Why are you two arguing? I brought a little boy here who knows many sorts of abstruse energies. Can you teach him about earth and wind abstruse energies? I want to see which one he can master first." "Humph, Shenyu, do you think I'm like that moron? A cultivator of the 7th Zun Qi layer, a human being on top of that. If his abstruse energy doesn't level up quickly, I'll have to stay with him for years," said the beast in the sky. "Lin Feng, release your 10 different sorts of abstruse energies and show them," said Emperor Shenyu. Lin Feng nodded and then released his 10 sorts of abstruse energies. So many different types of abstruse energies, the beast in the sky incredulous. "I have to go and find some other people, so tell me if you agree or not." "If you don't, I'll have to take him with me," said Emperor Shenyu indifferently. The beast in the sky asked, "But he's a human being. How can you be so stupid? When the Yaoyi Island was in trouble, who helped us? Human beings or animals?" asked Emperor Shenyu. "So, are you doing it or not?" Bzzz, the beast in the sky turned into a light, enveloping Lin Feng in a gale of winds. "Bastard!" shouted the ape furiously. Then the ground trembled as the ape moved again. Chapter 1558, Practicing hard. A silhouette was flickering back and forth above the island's mountains. Bzzz. Lin Feng continued traveling back and forth, attempting to fuse with the wind. Lin Feng didn't stop either, he seemed determined to gain something. "Finally, I mastered the wind. Now the real wind won't affect me again," whispered Lin Feng, rising up in the air. It was as if the air didn't exist anymore, he could move freely in the sky. Lin Feng had already spent a few months on Yaoyi Island, so he knew where he was now. They were in a bestial world, amongst animal clans. The island he was on was also the most important one. The stone ape master would make him break stones to teach him earth energy, while the bird had him flying back and forth to understand wind and speed abstruse energy. Apart from that, some other beasts came to teach him other energies. His abstruse energies were all improving as a result. He also created dreams to practice cultivation inside. "Brother Feng, I came to see you," said a woman in red clothes. She was in the air above him, so Lin Feng could see almost everything. It was obvious that she was trying to seduce him. "Sister Hu Yu." Lin Feng was used to seeing her now. "Brother Feng, I'm taking you somewhere," said Hu Yu smiling. She turned into a light after she grabbed Lin Feng and streaked across the sky. Lin Feng was upside down and his hair was violently fluttering in the wind. But he hardly noticed that because he was in her arms, her skin was pressed up against his. Hu Yu took Lin Feng out of Yaoyi Island and they flew over an ocean. They arrived very high up in the sky where everything was purple. It was terrifying, like a storm. Kaboom! Terrifying thunders descended from the sky. Lin Feng saw a mountain range explode on the ocean. Those thunders are terrifying, thought Lin Feng. Hu Yu took him higher up in the sky to a purple castle. She shouted, "King of the thunder beasts, why don't you come out to see me?" More thunders descended from the sky after she screamed. Explosions sounded as a winged thunder beast appeared and said, "Hu Yu, I don't remember offending you recently. King of the thunder beasts, I brought my little brother. I want you to teach him some things for a while. Please help him raise his thunder abstruse energy to the maximum level." "I'm off," said Hu Yu. Then she left as quick as she came. Lin Feng looked at King of the Thunder Beasts, almost angry at that bewitchingly beautiful woman for leaving him there. "King of the Thunder Beasts, Master," said Lin Feng, he was almost paralyzed in fear. Terrifying lightning descended from the sky and surrounded him. Then, the King of the Thunder Beasts turned into a light and streaked across the sky to grab him. He threw him at a mountain under the flying palace. "Sense these 5 different sorts of thunderous energies," said a loud voice. Lin Feng raised his head and looked at the ancient purple palace, rolling his eyes for he knew what would come next. Kaboom! 5 different types of lightning descended from the castle and assaulted Lin Feng. He knew that he would have to endure that agony for a long time, so he took out his Tianji sword to train under these energies. 1 month later, Hu Yu came back. Lin Feng looked sharp and charged. His skin was even purple. "You're getting even more handsome, Brother Feng," said Hu Yu giggling. Lin Feng looked at her, he felt like crying and smiling at the same time. He had finally discovered what thunderous energies really were this time. 5 types of lightning could bombard people, 7 types of lightning could destroy bodies, and 9 types of lightning could destroy souls. His body had been cleansed properly from the constant assault this last month. "I wanted to take you somewhere else, but since you look angry, just forget about it," said Hu Yu smiling mockingly. Lin Feng's eyes were twinkling. He said, "How could I be angry at you, Sister Hu Yu? I don't even know how to thank you enough. I'm infinitely grateful." Even though that month had been horrifyingly painful, he had progressed quickly. "Not bad," said Hu Yu. She stretched her slender white hand and grabbed Lin Feng. "Come, I'll take you to my next friend." Lin Feng smiled wryly, grabbed her hand, and they disappeared in a flash. Time passed, and different seasons rages, leaves and petals grew and fell unceasingly. The Yaoyi Island was always changing. Lin Feng was resting on a gigantic stone, dreaming. In his dream, Qiu Yuxian and Meng Qing were there talking to him. "Meng Qing, your cultivation is special, so you don't need my dreams. However, Yuxian, what kind of dream do you need?" "I can create one for you," said Lin Feng to the girl. Initially, Lin Feng took out Meng Qing and Qiu Yuxian who had been practicing in the Jade Emperor's palace and brought them into his dream. He had been practicing the Dream of Life ancient scriptures for a while, and now he could have people enter his dreams. If he was stronger than them, he could force them into a dream. "Lin Feng, help me study the 4 seasons and the birth of the 10,000 things of creation," replied Qiu Yuxian. "All right." A tree instantly appeared in the dream. He also decorated the dream so that the scenery appealed to Qiu Yuxian. Outside the dream, on the stone, there were 2 beautiful women. Hu Yu smiled and said, "He's sleeping." "Sister Yun, are those fruit for me or him?" asked Hu Yu smiling. "You can eat 2, but I will keep 2 for Lin Feng," said Yun as she handed a green fruit over to Hu Yu. "It's okay. I don't need any. Let him have them all." "He'll like that," said Hu Yu, smiling before asking, "How long have you been on Yaoyi Island?" 1 year and 1 month, replied Yun. 1 year had passed now. Even though she had spent all her time there, she felt happy and relaxed. Her teacher taught her many things and she didn't feel under pressure, like when she was working for the Celestial Qi Castle. She could do whatever she wanted now. Sometimes, she also went on small trips with her teacher. 1 year already. Time passes so fast. It's time for Brother Feng to go and travel a bit, said Huyu smiling. It was the first time that beasts from Yao Yi Island were being so nice with humans. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.